Okay, I'll call the meeting to order for January 13th, select board meeting, 6 p.m. Review agenda for additional removal or adjustment of any items. Do you have any?
I don't think so.
Okay. Public forum, anybody out there that would like to speak? That's not on the agenda? Okay, budget workshop, regular business, public works, capital and vehicle replacement. Eric, you're up. Come right up.
So on people's desktops are some documents, most of them are in some draft form. One is a summary of the vehicle replacement options that Eric will be describing. Another is the draft capital plan to go on the town report. That reflects what Eric and I chatted about this morning, and it's quite likely going to change based upon our conversation tonight. And then other documents are a consolidated draft capital plan. And then another document is the just an attempt to summarize the different vehicles, describe and summarize the different vehicles of public works.
Okay. Why don't we start with the troublemaker first, Eric? No, not help. There's no troublemaker to help. The truck, the troublemaker of the truck.
Troublemaker truck, okay, so, not sure if you all...
This is the one, you bring it up to speed.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the one that does the village truck route or plowing route, and it gave us trouble in the middle of August or September somewhere.
This is the one we had the work done on.
Yeah,
And we were told it's gonna be a $30,000 motor, and then we got a second opinion, and J&B said, I think we can fix it for $9,000, doesn't need a motor, just put heads on it. And now it's doing the same thing it was doing before. So,
No, I didn't realize it was doing the same thing.
yeah, it started probably 3 weeks ago. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago it started. So, we had an equipment committee meeting, and I got prices to replace the truck, and they also recommended that I send the truck up to get it checked out again, so I did. We have the truck back. This time it ended up being a fuel rail sensor and a wiring harness. They fixed them. They told me that it pretty much ruined the new DF system on it. And there's $3,500. So I got to call them. I didn't have time today to call. I was working on this. I didn't have time to call them on that yet to see what they're going to do with that. That should be covered under warranty, hopefully. But as of right now, Josh drove it back Friday, and he says it's running good. It seems to have power back again where it was losing power. It's still smoking some right now, but I'm assuming it's because the DF ain't working properly. So I'm assuming that's why it's smoking. So the thought was to get rid of that truck this year, before we end up either having to redo the motor again or having to actually put one in it. So I got prices for an upgraded truck to go from that small truck to an actual 7-yard truck, the one that was doing the village before we got this truck.
okay, and you said in Valerie's notes that only one person showed up to the truck committee.
The first meeting we had, everybody showed up, and that's when they gave me the task to get the prices and to send that truck to get checked out and get fixed if we could. The next meeting we had, only one person showed up. The rest of them forgot. So, didn't have much of a committee on it, a quorum, whatever you want to call it. And so really don't have that much of a recommendation.
Okay, so let's, for all of us here, let's walk through the 2020-2021 line item. So, as of January, coming this July 1, we will have what will be the balance? I mean, right now we're having negative. I guess maybe I'll look to my treasurer over there.
What do you mean?
So-
We don't have a negative.
No.
Well, we don't. So Valerie and I talked about that earlier, but excuse me. Most of that is just that she's considering what we're gonna have to pay back on that loan, I think, unless she had updated the
No,
schedule.
it's the same one.
Okay.
from this morning.
I hadn't seen if she had updated that. So what she's considering is she's taking out that 100,000 that we have out in the loan right now that we plan to pay back
When we-
I see what you're
on
saying.
next year. So she's just anticipating like she's putting in the actual cost of everything that we've paid for.
Well, it's due July 1, right, to John Deere?
Well,
Or sometime
a
after
year
July.
from whenever we borrowed, I think, is
Right.
what I remember.
In the next fiscal year.
Right. So it's due in the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
But so technically our fund is not negative, but we do owe that 100 to whoever I'm assuming John Deere is who we
Yep.
loaned through.
Okay, and then the following year, 21, 22, that was the year you were going to trade the loader, or was it 22, 23, and you moved it up?
The grader was going to be traded next year.
21, 22.
Yes, and we bumped it up a year.
Yeah. So, for my thinking, is that 67,087 negative there? Is that a real number as of July or August of next year?
Yes.
No.
I got a yes and I got a no. Look for a
We
third.
talked about
Those,
today.
Is that because of the
this is a
100,000?
scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
It's this.
Well, it's due, right? There's more. I don't want to spend money when we're already in the negative. If we're not in the negative, then we can
Well, the
talk.
whole point of borrowing at the 100,000 was that the 100,000 was going to be in there come the next fiscal year, and we were borrowing at 0%.
Right.
So we could borrow for the 100,000 for 1 year, and that when that came to term, we were going to pay the whole 100,000
So
off.
does that term come up this July 2020 or July of 21?
Whatever, 2020. It
2020.
comes up in 2020.
Okay.
2020.
After July 1.
About 6 months.
Excuse me.
Okay.
So we do owe the 100,000, but it
So-
won't put our account negative because we'll have a new appropriation going in there.
Which is
Correct?
125, correct?
If that's what you make it, yes.
I see it there.
Yeah.
I'm just
So if you take out, if 2020, 2021, the bottom total available is 169, you take out the 100,000, so you're left with 70
Yeah, I think
grand,
we-
approximately 70 grand.
Yeah, that's what we had calculated earlier today.
What did you say that, Michelle? I'm sorry.
I said, if you look at the 2020, 2021, where it says total available, 169,861, if you take the 100,000 out of there, because we know we have to pay that, we're left with about 70 grand.
Well, I was going by the bottom number. I was going by the 67.
Well, I'm the year before.
Okay.
I'm the
higher.
yeah, but I'm also the year before. Because at that point, we haven't spent the money for the truck.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what do we really have in there?
So
not
these
spent.
numbers are reflecting of what's going to happen.
Right. Well, what you're hoping to happen.
Right.
Hoping
You're
to happen.
hoping to happen.
And in this particular scenario, it's paying off the grader and the getting the new Ford F450 in three installments over 3 years.
So what's the replace the international truck number 2?
What's going to replace it?
What is that? No, what one is that? That's not the one we're talking about.
Yes.
That's the one we're having trouble with.
Okay.
This, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, talking with you the other day and bring the rest of the board up to speed. These numbers here, the left side is for two-wheel drive truck, right?
Well, you're on a
cap-
different piece of paper now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Right?
yeah.
So the price you got in this column, is it for two-wheel or four-wheel drive truck?
The prices that's in this column right now is for a two-wheel drive truck and the 450.
Okay.
Oh, so for 2 vehicles?
Yes.
Okay. So the 50K is where you got replaced international truck number 2, 50K. That's on a 2-wheel drive truck? And then the 1/3 payment on the Ford F450. Okay, that's what I was.
And the 450 will be four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Have to be, yeah.
Yep.
Did the equipment committee have any opinion on, or they didn't meet the second time, to give you opinion on four-wheel drive versus a four-wheel drive truck to match the Peterbilt that we have,
The Freightliner.
the Freightliner, excuse me, not
Yep,
Peterbilt,
yep.
the Freightliner. So if one breaks down, the other one can go to the,
Right.
do the basin and the brake sealing those.
Right. No, well, yeah, you're right, because we didn't have
A full committee.
a full committee, they really didn't say much about it. Peeker was here. Peeker and I talked this morning when he was delivering fuel, about it, and if he was here, he could talk more about it. The reason to go back to a regular 7-yard truck was it's more versatile. The 7-yard truck that we had before, the truck that we have now, used to plow the village. Didn't have any issues with it plowing. It got around fine. And then in the summertime, we would use it for spreading gravel, ditching, and just would be used more. The truck that we have now, we do use it for ditching some, just basically because it's smaller and we can get into more places with it. And usually we dump in close by, so it's a quick jaunt in and out. We've also used the 4-wheel drive, the Freightliner too, for the same reason. But it would just be more handy to spread gravel with. Instead of having 2 trucks spreading gravel, you'd have 3 trucks. And that single axle could spread under the wires easier than a tandem can. It's just, I don't know, we just think it would be more versatile.
So the truck that you're having problems with,
Mhm.
or that continue,
Mhm.
there's no way to fix that, right? Or it seems that way.
No, the motor in it is what they call a throwaway motor.
Yeah.
Everybody that has that motor is having the same issues we have. There's actually 2 lawsuits against International because of that motor. One, according to, what was it, Gary? Yeah, Gary. He said one of them already got settled for 27 million, something like that. And then the second one is a bigger one than that. And so International is they're pretty worried.
So does that mean people who have this truck with this motor in is going to
Well,
get
that's
some
what I
kind
told
of
Valerie,
settlement?
so we had to
Are they
jump
gonna
on board to that
Well,
thing.
usually it's a class action suit.
It is a class
we
action
should
suit.
We should be part of that, or we should be getting notice of some class action suit.
No, we haven't gotten any notice on it or anything. If you want to check on it, that would be awesome.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know where to start.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's
Right.
maybe you got to reach out. I don't even know who to contact.
I'm surprised they haven't done ads on TV. Everybody
Well,
else.
that's true.
true.
Usually when they have a lawsuit like that, somebody sends out a notice if it's a class action for,
Yeah.
and they should have the details of who owns
Right.
Every
every
one
vehicle
of them
that's out
trucks.
there, yeah, or who was the owner, you know.
Right. They should.
So who is it?
International.
International.
Yep.
And what's the,
It's the Max Force 7 motor is what the lawsuit's against.
okay.
But I guess even if we were part of that, we have no idea what we might get.
No, but we could at least know that maybe we'll get something back.
Right.
See, a lot of them are for
You're still gonna lose, no
right.
matter what.
The first suit they were asking for repair costs, time loss, income loss because the truck was down, rental that they had to rent another truck to do to repair that. They're asking for a bunch of stuff, I guess.
So it seems like no matter what, we want to get rid of that. Is it something that we can sell, or is it just scrap?
Well, Matt don't even want it for a trade-in. I talked to Peterbilt today. They don't want it for a trade-in just because of what it is.
Yeah.
Kenworth did say that they would take it in trade, but they'd only give us about $700 to $500 for it. So his theory was just to sell it outright. You can probably do better. Book value on that right now, he told me, is between 11 and 14,000.
If you can find somebody who
If
wants to
you
buy
can
it.
find somebody that'll buy it knowing what the motor is. If somebody, like some Joe Schmo bought it that could rip the motor out and put in a different motor, that would be a good truck. Everything else on it, the transmission's good, the box is, lots of
7,500 might be a good price.
I was gonna say.
Right. But we don't want to do the motor thing or have someone do that for us.
Well, give you a little background, Ian. We did get 2 prices, 30,000 and 25,000, and they give us only 2 years. And it's still
Yeah.
a throwaway motor.
Yeah, and then you're back to
You're
where you
back to the same motor. If you wanted to put in a Cummins motor, which is what everybody's doing now, you gotta send it to Ohio.
It's gonna be 50 or
It's
60.
$60,000 to put a motor in it, and they don't have any of the adapter plates to do it. So our truck would be a guinea pig
Yeah.
as far as making the adapter plates.
And how much is a new truck?
Anywhere from
It varies.
85 to 90
Right.
to 119.
Okay.
It varies, and if you add, see, a lot of these, the Mac one has a 7-year warranty included in it, whereas the other trucks didn't. I called on the warranties on the other trucks, and so this is Freightliner's warranties. I'll pass them around.
This is extra.
Added on to the
Would be
price of the truck. This is the new truck that he bid today, which I'm assuming is just a heavier truck. But this one here is 102,000.
That is what, a Peter or Frank?
No, that's a Freightliner. Where on this one here is 85 for the Freightliner. On this one, the 108, and he bid it a 114, which is a little heavier truck. It's got a better transmission, heavier transmission, set forward axle. A couple other things, I can't remember what they were now, but it's just a heavier truck. So if you add the warranties to these, it brings a lot closer to the 119 mark with the Mac than it does.
Yeah. And the
So they're
Mac,
not too far out all the way around.
And they're all sort of comparable trucks, or are there ones that you prefer over others?
When you buy a truck, the only difference in the truck is the cab,
Oh.
really, because your suspension, your axles, your transmission, your motor, they're all the same. Freightliner puts in a Cummins with an Allison. Kenworth puts in a Cummins with an Allison. Let's see, Peterbilt puts in a Picard, which is a Cummins, and they just stick a Picard name on it, with an Allison transmission. International puts in a Cummins with an Allison. So basically, the only thing that is different with the truck is the cab, which is the convenience part of it. We're trying to do it now where we're in the trucks 12 to 14, and in the wintertime, I should re-emphasize, in the wintertime. We could be in the trucks anywhere from 12 to 14 hours out of whack, sometimes 24 to 26 hours, depending on the storm. So we're trying to do it where we can get the truck more comfortable for the operator, and so he's not as fatigued
Yeah.
driving the truck in the storm. So
I don't know. I won't want him damn comfortable when he's driving in the storm.
I mean, you don't want him comfortable.
No.
Well, he's not
Don't want
asleep,
him
he's so
falling
comfortable.
asleep.
But yeah. Still, yeah.
yeah, but this, yeah.
But so anyway, so that's what we're doing. So like some of the cabs are the dashes are straight, so it means you got to reach, or they have the ones that with the wings that come out, so they're right here, they're within arm reach. It's easier for the operator.
So we are, just to give us,
Yep.
so the Mac's 119 and the Peterbilt and the Freightliner are around 103.
Right.
And the Kentworth is 99, so.
But if you look at that and you add in the
warranty,
that's
yeah.
10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So
you're up
you're
to
at
about 112,
119.
100.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And
When you add
the Mac, you'll
warranties-
get more for it when you sell it.
Well, that's the other issue is which we haven't come to that point yet. The first Mac that we got, the tandem, it's 7 years right now. We haven't had to put hardly anything into it for repairs. Which is great.
I don't
Bite
think
your
that's
tongue.
The body on it is in excellent condition right now. There's hardly any rust on that body whatsoever.
Is that an HP?
No, it's Tenco.
Tenco.
Yeah. So we haven't got to the resale value of the truck yet, the trade-in value, which that's coming up, so we can see. And that's Mac's biggest push is their trade-in value is a lot more than the rest of the vehicle, the rest of the trucks.
Well, is that a trade-in value back to them, or is that a trade-in value to anybody?
The trade-in value would be back to them, but selling it outright would be, there's still, Mac, you still get more money selling them out, at least 10 grand more selling them outright than you do, well, I'm gonna say international, than an international. We've never done anything else like the Freightliner or the Peterbilt or the Kenworth. We actually haven't done that yet, so I can't give you a number on that.
But your history to the town to the northeast of us, Starksboro, runs all Max. And
That's all they have
get,
is Max.
They get $10,000 to $15,000
More than we do.
than we do with our internationals trading in their tandems.
Yep.
They trade theirs every 10 years, I believe, too.
8.
8 years, like us. Yeah.
So Eric, back to the current international.
Sure.
So with what they did with the wiring harness and whatnot, seems to be up to full power except for this DF maybe
Right.
be a problem. Do you think the changing the heads is a result, a cause of this wiring harness to go, or is that just, again, part of the junk of?
I think it's just part of the truck.
Yeah.
That if it was gone, I'm assuming if it was gone before, they would have picked it up,
Yeah.
you know, and they would have changed the same with the fuel rail sensor. I think you're gonna find, and I could be way off base here, but now that you got the heads and stuff all fixed up and the 2 cylinders fixed up, I think now it's just gonna be something else is gonna go
Gonna
now.
nickel and
I'm
dime.
gonna nickel and dime you. I think you got the big part taken care of, but now it's just gonna be nickel and diming you all the way through. You do a wire harness, you do a fuel rail. One of the thought was when it was up there, it was gonna be a high pressure fuel pump. So that could be down the road, that could go.
That's a speculation. Though. I mean,
It's just a speculation.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know for sure. I mean, it cannot give you a problem for the rest of the time that we have it.
That's where it was going.
You know, and yes,
I mean, we're gonna-
it is a possibility.
Whether we voted tonight or not to buy a new truck, we're not going to have it until the end of middle of summer or early fall anyway. Depending on which one it is. If it was a Mac, they're going to build it.
Well,
when
with
we
the
put
Mac, yeah, right now, according to Peaker, because I wish he was here, the Mac right now, they're saying it's a year out if you order the truck.
But there's got to be some of these bigger Mac dealers in the New England and east side of the United States that has those sitting
I
on
think
the
we're
lot.
getting ahead of ourselves.
Huh? But we're getting out for that.
Yeah.
So, but we're definitely going to get through the winter with what we got. We got to.
We have to.
definitely-
There's
we ain't gonna have a
there's
truck.
no way around it.
We did it last year when we had to rent a truck for a few months.
Right.
or a month.
My
When
thought
Peterbilt
was
burned up.
to have you guys get the information here, go over it, and then sooner than later, hopefully, decide what you want to do. And then if you want to do it, then I can get on it, get actual, these are just their budget figures.
Yep.
So the prices are going to change. They usually go down when you actually do a bid. And so I can get it out to get a bid and then get it back and then get it ordered. And then the same with the equipment.
I don't have a problem if you could give us, sharpen them up or get them out there. And, tell the 3 up above here, said, to compare apples to apples, you add up those columns you gave us, don't let us pick them. We want a 7-year warranty on this truck, so what it's gonna cost us. So we compared it to
Right.
those top one.
But if he calls and he's asking if he's putting this out to bid, that means we're
That-
buying a truck.
Yeah.
Well, that was my, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I don't want to put it out there and say, okay, everybody bid your truck with the 7-year warranty, because they're going to expect that we're going to buy a truck,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get them, have them do all the paperwork and all that
I hear you.
stuff.
But I'd like to see, Michelle's got that, and you said somewhere around 10 grand. You add it to these right here, just for easy figure. We're comparing apples to apples here.
I think the equipment committee should be the one doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you need to get them to get on board.
I'd like to have another
Just
equipment committee.
evaluate it and decide what's
Then-
the best route.
Right.
And this, okay.
I mean, I don't think we should be doing that.
No.
I mean, that's why we have
Well,
them.
that was right. That was
That
the
was your
purpose of my
intention.
meeting on Thursday was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And also too, I mean, if the Mac you're gonna get better value and better resale, and it's not that much more than others, like, we should be thinking about that too, right? Especially if surrounding towns have had that equipment and do well, better than what we've been doing.
You know, I'd like, and I don't mind reaching out to the guys, I know most of them in Middlebury, they have 2 small Macs.
Oh, do they have singles?
They have a single axle Mac, and they got 2 Peterbilts like you have.
Trailers.
Freightliners, screws. I call them Peterbilts, I don't know why I think that. Freightliners. And say, what's the comparison, what are they, would they say, yeah, you know, Mac wasn't up to what we thought, the Peterbilt is this, or the Freightliner's the same, or
Yeah.
no, it's heads or tails over, I can ask.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And just for your guys' reference, the Mac that Gary quoted was pretty much our tandem with taking the rear axle out and cutting the frame. That's how heavy he built the truck.
Yeah. I wanna ask you, I mean, you go over and look at that tandem, that Mac tandem, and if it gets shorter, that's a lot of truck running around this village for these little side
Oh,
streets.
it is.
That's why I just wanna make sure we're not, there was a reason why we went with smaller trucks, at a reason. We'd have the smaller ones doing the smaller routes and the big ones, so. I'd like the equipment committee to weigh in on that too, really. You know, I know you had just one of them and
Right, that was the whole purpose of the second
yeah.
meeting, was supposed to be all these prices and everything, and then have a,
And then was this, on the second, was
Yep.
this price here, I won't say the price from the local Ford dealer, was that for a new one?
what's that?
Is that for a new one?
Brand new.
Brand new.
4-door cab.
Because we talked about a cab and a half
Yep.
and.
And according to the salesman, he says there's only about $500 difference between an extended cab and a 4-door cab. When you get down to,
I mean, I saw one Friday. The state has a new Dodge 4-door with a sander on
Yep.
the back.
Yep.
The 7-foot. That thing is long.
it is long.
It is long, and I wonder if that we're going to hear again.
And I don't,
What we want to do with library
honest,
land, you know, the fire station, those types of things.
to be honest with you, I don't want it that long.
Right.
I do want an extra cab, but
You and I talked about.
I don't want it that long, because then you're getting into the boat where, like you're saying, if I'm over at what I call Gardner Lane,
Right.
and I'm turning around with my truck over there, it's going to be the same
Exactly.
pain in the butt with this truck being the extra 4-door,
Right.
because you're going to be about the same length.
Yes. So.
But he just did that because there wasn't much money difference between.
I thought it was more than that when I priced it. On a pickup, 4-door to
Well,
door and a half.
don't forget
is
too
about
that these
$2,000,
this is
$20,000.
also a municipal discount.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
Right.
less,
No,
Markup.
that's not a bad price, but
and the 62 is
with all the equipment.
complete,
So
which is what's that?
the one you're replacing, the 350, is that the one with the wood box on the back?
That
Did you-
well
It used to have a wooden
used to have a, no, actually it never did.
Actually, no, Randy built that steel.
Randy built that steel
Oh,
back
it's
on it.
it's the flat top.
The flat one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's the
The old
one that
water
we're replacing. That one there has got 149,000 some whatever, almost 150,000 miles
I
on it.
thought you told us a month ago that you thought you could stretch that one out for another year or two.
I can stretch anything you want.
We're talking about the same truck?
Yes.
I think we are, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other and to do that, if you wanted to do that, and not do the 450 and just do the truck for the village, my opinion would be to buy the sander for it and possibly upgrade the plow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when you go to do the 450, you've already got your sander, so that's off the table.
Yeah.
Are they interchangeable?
Yeah, it just slides on, and you just strap them down. So you've made your purchases. You've cut that bill down,
Yeah.
well, by that number for the body, and well,
Yeah.
no, actually no, you didn't.
You've cut it down to about 6,000 off that 18.
Pretty
You're gonna be-
close.
Between a drop-in sander and a V plow, you're going to have about
About
12 grand, 11.5, 12.
Yeah, about 12 grand into both of them.
Yeah.
The only thing I would do would be, I probably wouldn't upgrade the plow, because depending on how many years you are, is it going to be that that V plow, would that be easy to put onto the 450? Or would it be too small
You'd have to rebuy the wiring for the 450.
in the cheek plates?
And the cheek plates, because the cheek plates, I would sell that 350. That would make someone a good, decent little run around plow truck.
So I would keep the Fisher,
No, sell the yellow one with it.
sell the yellow one with it.
And when you're gonna buy a new V plow, saw that 8-footer with it, that's what
Okay, so if we kept the water truck,
I,
so
Kept it here.
just buy the sander part of it and
Yeah.
leave the plow on
you
it
could
that's
do
there
that
now?
and set the sander somewhere, or set it on that 350.
Well, I would set it on the 350, might as well use it,
Right.
because that's what the 450 is gonna be doing.
Yep. Right.
Well, I think take all of those options to the equipment committee and
Yeah.
see what they suggest.
Okay.
But I certainly think if you can stretch that 350 out for another
This
year or
time
two-
next year,
Yeah,
yeah, buy it July 21,
well,
or July, August,
maybe
September.
2 years.
Or,
Because doesn't matter which order you buy these two trucks in, we're still gonna be the same amount of money out at the end of 2 years.
Right, because that's what you're at this point.
Yeah.
You can
yeah.
sit here and pick and choose which
Yeah,
truck you
yeah.
wanna buy and which truck you don't want.
oh no, it's the only one truck we're gonna buy.
But
Right
the difference is the monetary piece and how you're planning to pay for that, because you're still $100,000 left to pay on your grader.
Right.
So you keep taking at what's coming instead of getting yourself caught up.
Right.
So if you get yourself too far behind, you're gonna be in a tough scenario.
Yeah, 'cause
Whereas
then-
if you can stretch that water truck and wait to spend your 65,000, you could get yourself caught up, because
But-
that's such a smaller purchase
And then
in
you got-
comparison to your $100,000 truck.
And you get the loader in 2 years for 175.
Yeah, well, you may have to reevaluate that too.
Or you can stretch the water truck again.
It's good for 200,000, it's gotta be.
I mean, to be realistic, I don't really want to say it, but to be realistic, if that truck wasn't in the picture, say for a year, it probably wouldn't be a killing matter.
If you walked in here and said the motor blowing in, we're not gonna put a new motor in it.
Right.
We're
No.
gonna wait a
For
year.
which truck?
For the water truck.
We can
No
get
water
by.
One with 150,000.
We can get by. Everything that we do in the summertime with it, we can do it with the Freightliner. We can pull the light trailer with it. We can put all the signs in the back. We can do everything with the Freightliner that we can do with the water truck.
But that's wear and tear on that truck. More
But
wear
it's
and tear.
extra wear and tear on the truck. So
Yeah, I think
theoretically,
at some point, just where we are financially,
Right.
we need to take a chance.
yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And my opinion would be, like you were saying, if you're gonna do a truck, is to do the village truck and not worry about the 450. Just leave it off the table for now. And just concentrate on doing the village truck.
Okay, so your equipment committee, you need to meet
So,
them.
I guess my charge, I would like to, I don't wanna speak for the board, but I'd like to see you go back to the committee or just the Freightliner Kenworth and Peterbilt people and say, add in your best warranty. Is it 5 years or 7?
I have that.
And tell me what it is, or you put it down,
I have it.
and then you know the truck, and, we know Tenco, Fifield, Tenco builds a good body. And then kind of give those, say, okay, truck committee, what do you think we should do? What are we going to the select board for next month, or next week?
So
We're gonna be here again next Monday.
So do you want me to see if I can get one together for next week?
Today's the 13th.
On that committee, right?
What's that?
Alan's out of town.
That out of town.
So you got Randy, if you can catch Randy before the end of the month, he leaves for Florida usually in February, first part of February.
We meet next month, the 20th, and then we'd have to have it by
27.
the 27th for sure. We'd like it next Monday if we could.
Yeah.
Get them on the phone.
I can have Sharon and set up a meeting for Wednesday or Thursday night again.
Yeah, and then.
Thursday's supposed to be a good day, I think.
Yeah.
No, Wednesday's supposed to be a good day.
It's a small
Wednesday's supposed to be
Thursday.
a good day.
Okay,
So
so I can
Wednesday.
see if she can set up a meeting for Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, and I can go through all this, because I got all the figures, I called the vendors on
Oh, you
the
won't-
warranties.
Wednesday night's annual fire thing, so I know two
Well,
of
if you
those.
can do it during the, if they can meet during the day, meet during
Some
the day.
people work,
Not his group, right?
Well,
Huh?
Peter's retired.
yeah.
Peaker works though. running.
Peaker's on fuel truck right now for Billy. But Randy can come up
Maybe
anytime.
tomorrow night. Maybe they make tomorrow night or
and
Thursday.
I could, yeah, that'd be
Try-
short
Try to
notice.
make it happen.
Try to make it happen for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything with the replacement schedule, upping it or anything, or talk about it, or?
Well,
Well,
I'd like-
I think we need these numbers.
Might as well
I
break
like,
it up.
yeah, the numbers and, I mean, I heard we didn't have a deficit, we may have a deficit, we don't all have a
Well-
deficit. I mean, I'd like, if we owe 100,000 to John Deere by
Yeah.
sometime in August or September,
No,
then
it's
that-
September.
okay, then it needs to be here.
Yes.
It's a payment.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's why it's already, yeah, that's why she's got it deducted out.
yeah.
And the 150 that's deducted out was
Yeah,
taken
why is it 150 then? I don't know.
Well,
because
the 50
it
was
was
50.
anticipating on putting a down payment on the trucks
Truck.
that are coming.
2 trucks.
The 2 trucks that we were getting, that was the extra 50.
Said I don't want that there because we haven't approved it. I just
Yeah.
wanna know what's available if we approve it.
Well, it would be just under 70,000.
70,000, 69,000.
Okay. So,
This was just showing you what was going to happen if it got approved.
Yeah.
And
So
with a
that's-
3-year loan
Right.
for 50.
So even if we don't replace the water truck, we're still well short of what we need to replace the village truck.
right.
Yeah, you still would have to do the same scenario
Yeah.
with the village truck that we did with the grader. You'd have to put a down payment on it for a year and then pay it off the following year when you get your appropriation money.
But then that makes us,
I mean,
that makes us short.
right,
Well,
you keep.
No, not
driving
really,
next
because
year.
that's what you're gonna be, that's what the money you'd be using for the loader, because the loader technically is supposed to be done next year.
21, 22.
Yes, but we bumped it out.
You bumped it out 2 years, 23, 24.
Right. Because of both trucks.
Right.
So that's why. the
So that's why-
decision Comes,
Yeah.
what do we ask? Do we have to increase that appropriation by X thousands? A lot of X's.
Well, that, or increase it with the idea that you're gonna have,
Yeah.
you're gonna be fully paid in all of these pieces of equipment by X years, so that when you finally get an appropriation, you're back and
Back
Yeah.
on
Well,
track.
and that's-
buy $100,000+, which is what you really need to be purchasing, these big pieces of equipment.
Right, and that's kind of what, by 2023, that's what they do. We're putting in 135 and they'll pay, if the loader comes in at 175.
That's, according to Tim, I talked to, that was a safe number. It actually should be less than that, but he said to use that to be safe.
Because that's 3 years from now.
And that's even buying both trucks. By then you're
Right,
running
right.
out. But
Right.
you have no idea what's gonna happen with other equipment
No,
between
yeah.
now and then.
Well, the only other thing is if, best case scenario is both trucks got replaced. The oldest piece of equipment that's there would be the loader. Everything else would be, well, within the MAC being 7 years, but everything else would be fairly new. You shouldn't have any issues with any of the equipment.
Well, you didn't think you'd be having issues with the truck you got now either.
Yeah.
So I
That's
just
the
saying.
blinker and the whole thing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Okay, any more questions for Eric? Do we have? Ian? Nope. Michelle? Peter?
Yeah, has J and B done this, just changing the head and, with other trucks that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And
We were the guinea pig.
I'm just,
Well-
interesting, we're the only ones, if that is a resolution to this problem.
they wanted to do, when it went up here, they wanted to do their own diagnostic on it, which is what they should do.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones gonna fix it or repair it. So their diagnostic proved to them that it didn't need a motor. All it needed was the repair work that got done on it. That's what their diagnostic told them. So that's what they were going on. And I don't know if any other Max 47s, if they've done any other ones up there. I did not ask them if they have or not.
Well, the reason I ask is if they have.
Have they had any luck with it?
Are these other things happening that?
To them too?
Yeah.
But they did, yeah, they did town of Colchester's
Yeah.
heads, and did they have the same?
Same issues.
Now they don't have any power, and there is 6 months later, or
Yeah,
3 months
and-
later. I hear what you're
If
saying.
this is just this truck and this time, maybe it is fixed. You know, you said the DF may be under warranty, so.
Well, yeah, and I gotta call them tomorrow, to see what they wanna do with the DF system on it. So I can ask them tomorrow about if they've done any other trucks like ours, and if they've had any other problems that has arisen after
Yeah,
they've
because I
done.
think that's important information for your committee
Yes, it would be.
to make a decision. Maybe we don't need to replace it. Maybe.
It would be. It would be nice if we did, because then
Oh, yeah.
we could get back on track
Yeah.
on
Or,
everything.
you know, if they say, you know, we did a motor job, like I said, a couple of towns, we replaced the heads, and they're on their third year with that, and it's fine, or, yeah, as Peter said, then we would maybe reevaluate.
Right, and I'm still gonna use the truck only when we need to use it for plowing. Other than that, it sits in the barn. So, and just for your guys' information, on the year's replacement schedule,
Yep.
we were talking about upping it to 8 years instead of 10 years. And I talked with 2 of the dealers. One of the dealers said it's average about 5 extra grand for trade-in. And the other one, he said it's a crapshoot. He didn't really have a figure to give me for it. So
So other than potential repairs that you're gonna have to make those last 2 years, it may not be worthwhile.
right.
Yeah. And that again.
And then again, the only trucks that we've had issues with is the 09 Tandem that we got traded early, because in 16 months or 18 months we had $30,000 worth of repairs done on it, and this truck too for the village.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't take long to spend that much money.
Oh
on
no,
it.
not a bit.
Okay,
So just for you guys' information.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
thanks.
Clear as mud.
Because Claire's money, you got a list, you gave us a list of equipment and that we did, what we
And
have,
working on
Yeah.
it,
working on
because
it.
it's a reference.
Yep. Okay, let me see where we're at. Get my agenda. Here, it's buried in somewhere here. Okay,
You're free to go.
I'm
yeah,
done.
you're free. All right, sorry.
Yeah.
General fund and capital budget workshop for police department.
Please.
Thanks, Eric.
There you go. All warmed up for you.
This is Bruce's. Okay. Okay, he's got his revenue first. And he's good there.
On the revenue, I would like to see that we increase the town contract from 10 to 12,000, and the non-district services from 5,400 to 6,600.
And that's really the only change, I think.
Yeah, I
So-
think most of the
Fines.
others stayed.
Yeah, so why are you, well, I see you reduce the fines. But I guess my biggest question is in 2018 and 2019, why was it only like 4 grand, but the year before that it was 9? We know why?
No, I'd have to do a little more research.
Number
Do you mean the 17, 18 year?
Well, I know, but.
So on that line 12, under actual, what should that number be? For-
Where it says 40,000.
Yeah, it says,
Do we know what that's?
I think it's supposed to be 10. Yeah, that's
10,116.
well,
No,
That can't be.
Or is
it
it
should
10?
Oh,
probably
you
be,
mean what actually right now where
Yeah.
we're at?
probably should
I'm
be
not sure.
5.
Or maybe
Right.
there's a 0 in there, maybe it's 4,100,
It could
4116.
be. I don't know how the.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was an extra 0.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Jim. What she
Yeah,
knows.
yeah.
Let's hope so, at least.
Well,
Yeah, she she did say that was corrected, but I don't know what the corrected number is.
Okay.
Okay. And then non-district service is, so if you go over to Mount for a fight or something, a rowdy kid or something,
That's
is that
under
Mount
Mount
That's
That's
under
under
Mount
that
Abe, that's
contract.
non-district. So that Mount Abe contract is, they went up considerably.
Yes.
So that, And I did see in here, also gonna do all the fingerprinting too,
Only for the volunteers for Mount Aim.
Okay, so that was my question, like under services,
No,
you
we
say
stipulate-
fingerprinting, that, there's a separate line item for the Mount Aid.
No.
Or
The
that's
Mount,
part of it.
everything in, for Mount Aim is in
The-
for one line.
Okay, okay.
And we still do fingerprints that aren't related
Right.
to Mount Aim.
Okay,
Okay, so that's,
That was my,
or the school district.
For anybody.
For, no, but if they volunteer at Bristol Elementary, it's still the Union High School School District.
Right, if
So that's
somebody
under that.
volunteers, yes,
Or
for the school district, the school's paying for it.
Okay.
so that would be any of the,
5 town
Correct.
elementars.
Yes, just the volunteers.
right.
Oh, okay.
If somebody's employed there, they have to pay for their fingerprints. So they only pay for the volunteers.
Oh,
So that 40,000 on line 12, that is in the budget report. So-
right, it is, and I asked Jen about that, she said it was an error and she fixed it, so I just, I didn't know what the new number was. So Bruce, why is there a decrease in the full-time salaries and an increase in the part-time salaries?
Our thought process is if we're replacing the most recent vacancy that we will be paying less per hour. And hopefully utilizing more part-time to cover some of the shifts that we've been using overtime with.
Okay.
And you can see those on the personnel sheet that was part of your package.
Yeah,
I think this is the number it's supposed to be right here. $5,002,
Yeah,
which would make
probably.
sense.
So if we get back to fulfill this budget, Bruce here, this budget number, how many full-timers and how many part-timers will we have?
3 full-time,
So
and we currently have 2 part-time.
Okay, and we'll still have 3 and maybe 3? Because more money in the part-time, or just, they'll be used?
They would be used more, and then if we can develop a larger pool of part-timers, because they're not guaranteed hours every month or every week.
which makes it hard.
Yes. So we're hoping to acquire 1 or 2 more that would be, we could call them like kind of per diem, I guess. That's the right word to use, because
Yeah.
it would only be when we need to fill a shift that they would be available and they could fill it.
Okay.
So you got the increase on the health insurance, I'm assuming that you're increasing that, assuming that whoever you hire is gonna take the full.
Correct.
The full vote.
Yes.
And then the workers' comp, I saw that got decreased because
Our experience rating
Went
went
down.
down after the 3-year period was up, but we anticipate it's gonna get jacked up again. Yes.
We,
Of course.
we have 1 claim
So far.
so far, correct, so far.
So, with last year's, Michelle brought up health insurance. We budgeted 48 last year, 47 the year before. But the position we are filling presently, you said you added in a family plan.
Right.
But
And
it's not replacing a single plan.
No,
That
right now I
person-
think we have 2 family plans and 1 single plan. So we left that the
As
same.
is.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get to the
Yeah.
21.5% increase. Is that more for the plans or just the rates?
plans
I know the
went up.
rents went up,
The rates went up.
but they didn't go up 20.
Well, you have to guess for 6 months what your increase is, right?
yeah, I think we budgeted 15%.
Right, so 12%, it was a 12.9%, I think, increase for the first 6 months. And then she guessed 15, so that's probably close to what you're,
Okay.
I
right?
think I included the health insurance sheet in with your package for the police, I think.
Yeah, I think it's in there, I don't really know all the numbers though.
Yeah, the pass-through.
But that's not the health insurance.
It would have been, I think it would have been in your executive session section.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dealing with personnel stuff. It's
That's not it.
workers' comp
It's not, okay.
Yeah.
on the spreadsheets.
So my question on the legal fees. Given the union contract negotiations, I know they're done, but aren't they gonna be kind of ongoing? And do you think $2,000 is gonna be enough?
How long was the contract for?
3 years.
3 years.
So we've got a couple of years. So maybe not, maybe a year. So the next budget, I think we'll have to.
Okay.
Well, from our conversations, you felt that with your experience,
Yes.
that going forward, we probably don't need a lot of legal support going after this.
Right, you've got the base contract already established.
Okay.
So there usually aren't a whole lot of changes, and that's something that we could work on and just have an attorney review it. That's the way they've done it in other
Okay.
places, and it works.
I'm trying to find where the attorney fees are.
97.
Oh, don't get a page yet. Oh, right here, just up in here, okay.
Well, your people are gonna be happy you're decreasing the police budget by 4.4%.
A big chunk of that was the workers' comp reduction.
Yeah.
Right.
Made a big difference.
Well, they had to pay it when it jumped up.
Yes.
Because we didn't do a reduction.
And Bruce, that, I know it's probably is right, the capital vehicle reserve, that's online, replace every 5 years, right?
It's every 3. I think it's every 3.
Vehicle is
Yeah.
8, right?
The cruiser.
The cruisers are,
Three.
I thought there were 5. We buy a cruiser every 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so yes, they're being replaced every 6 years, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to
Instead
look
of
at-
8. We're
Right,
going
instead
down
of
to
8, it
6.
was 6, you're right, because
We buy one every
3.
Yeah.
Correct, so that's actually
I
being
don't want the
replaced
people,
every
people
6.
out there.
No, no, no.
We're buying one every
Yes,
3.
no, no, no.
We're buying one every 3 years, we're not buying 2 every 3.
Correct,
Yeah.
we're replacing.
Right, we're replacing a cruiser every 3. The 2 we have.
Correct, thank you.
Okay. And I noticed in your notes, Valerie explained to me, and I agreed with it, you wanted to add something
Oh,
to
right,
the town
dog.
for the dogs.
Right, thank you
To
for
the police.
mentioning that, and that would be a revenue. I did not include a line in the budget for that, because I just wanted to bring it up. To acknowledge the fact that the police department responds frequently to dog issues. And at first I thought maybe it might be a reallocation of the current funding for the dog pound. But in talking with the dog warden and understanding a little bit more about the background of that, I think leaving that alone. I'm not suggesting making any changes to that, but just,
Could we,
We can monitor it more closely to see how many times we pick up a dog versus the dog warden. And the fees, if there's fees associated when the dog is picked up. If we pick up the dog,
The revenue
then
will go to
maybe
the
it should
police.
come to us.
I was gonna ask, why are you getting the dog and not the dog?
Because sometimes during the day, if it's during the day, he's not available.
Okay.
on weekends it's challenging, and so limited availability, but I think a lot of the compensation has to do with day-to-day maintenance when dogs are there and the day-to-day attention that they require.
Mhm.
And at this point, with the pound in the condition that it is, I haven't put a dog in there in a couple of months. We have a crate in the garage at the office, and that's where we put them if we have to. We'll do our best to keep them out of the pound because that's no place for an animal at this point in time.
so you mean, and also, correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce, you get a complaint of a dog bite, and he goes, as a police officer goes, child's been taken by ambulance, he may go and gotta pick the dog up then, so I think the police should get that revenue when they come and pay for the fine and people. Valerie, could you get a number under lines 9, 10, and 11 there, where it says Pocock, bike race, soccer,
Would that
other
be
events.
detail revenue,
That could be a detail revenue. It's design,
or should it be just dog stuff?
Could
A
it go
separate
with-
line. Or a
could it be a
separate.
separate line or go
Yeah,
there?
we probably want to track it,
Yeah, I think we would.
yeah, as a budget line.
We could probably track from last year basically how many times you
Yeah, I can
Right.
search the records
you
and
can say, okay, that's $500 in there or whatever.
Dog enforcement or something.
Yeah.
The more problem becomes is if they're picking the dogs up that aren't in the district. Correct, Bruce?
well, they still have to pay a fee if
They
you pick
do.
up a dog.
But if you pick up the dog that's not in the district, you're sending a bill to us, right? Which is what you should be doing. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but if you come to 116 South and pick up my
Yes.
dogs that are running at large,
That becomes a non-district.
you send a bill to the town
service.
for
Yes.
X amount of dollars, but I'm not paying nearly that in a dog fee if I come and pick up the same day,
Right, it's usually, I think, 25 or somewhere in that area.
which is not even covering the cost of
Right,
us paying.
so
So
we're
we're
losing
losing money, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. I'm not saying he shouldn't be billing, because he should be billing, because it's a non-district service.
Right, but maybe we need to reevaluate our,
The
But-
fine, I mean, I
Fines.
guess I think if you're gonna track this, we have to make sure that we're doing it the right way, because, I mean, he's gonna send us a bill
Right.
for the $45 or the $55 or whatever the price is. We're gonna pay that, and that's gonna go in his revenue line, but we're not gonna collect that in dog revenue.
No, but it's just part of the contract. It's a non-district service.
But,
Yeah, well,
but if you come pay for your dog, you might have to pay 25, I don't know what the cost is. Is it, you said 25 or?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I think
25
it's
for like.
25.
rental
So-
coverage, but-
Yeah, the town has lost $30, but they gained some of it.
Yeah.
well, I mean, you could reevaluate.
Well, the police district has gained $55. The
Right.
town has lost
30.
if you will.
Right. I mean, it's just hard to.
I'm glad you guys are all in the town and you just love that. I mean,
I'm not.
no, I'm just saying, it's like you're
We pay
robbing
it.
Peter to pay Paul.
We pay
I mean,
it.
to me, you're robbing
Right.
Peter to pay. Oh, well, I know, you're paying it
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to
You-
make
You
it,
pay it twice. Because you have property in.
well, true. Yeah, but I don't get it. But if we want to make it right, then you need to reevaluate the finding, the way we find.
I guess,
The
you
fees
know.
and the fines.
I guess there's a dog running at large at Sycamore Park. And there's something going on with a wreck down there, doing swimming and other things, fishing. And it's nipping at people, and police go down in the middle of the day and get that. That's a non-district service. For that person to get that animal back ought to be $55.
Well, you
But
gotta
that's not
change
what
the.
our dog ordinance.
All right,
So
that's
now
what I
you
said,
have
you gotta
to
change your dog ordinance.
Where do I sign?
Okay, we can put that on the list of things. to do.
Yeah, it goes on to your.
Because it can be a clear delineation between district and non-district,
Yes,
so it's
yes,
fairly simple.
Yes.
Right, I mean, there's really not.
Without changing the dog ordinance, because the fines are the fines, but have
Can you have a police fine for a dog at large? It's at,
something, some other kind
Or-
of policy or.
Or is it $80 to get your dog back? 55 a non-district fine, and 25 for the dog.
Well, there's a fee and there's a fine.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
so- exactly.
So I'm wondering if the select board can establish a fee without updating the ordinance.
So
Is
Kale,
this like
Kale
a
doesn't
ticket?
get, if Kale goes, does he get a fee?
He gets a monthly stipend
Okay,
and then a per event
right. So that's-
compensation.
Yeah, so that's a fee.
But still, if he goes or they go,
Yeah.
it's still Jen's dog running at large. I'll pick on her because she said her.
That's fine. Go
She
for it.
started.
But it's
I did.
$25. It's all out of the residents. It's
Yeah.
$25. The rest of it is the taxpayers are paying.
Right.
Right. Right. so
something to look at, or something we should think about.
She's put it down.
Okay.
So should we just leave that, no revenue figure at this point, but just.
I would like to at least
But put
get
it in there.
an idea
I
of
like
what
an
you
idea.
did for last year.
I can
We
get you
put
the
it in.
numbers and I can get you the report.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we can decide.
Any more questions?
No?
No,
Looks good.
good job, Bruce.
Yeah.
I see a little small increase in communications. Is that more for just dump 92, 3, and 4, Bruce? Just around $400, just their annual contract with Rollins and.
That stayed the same, I think, or
See, it
was,
went from 91 to budgeted last year to 95 this year, not a great deal. We only paid out 26 so far, just under 26.
Bruce, is that your guessing increase for email?
yes, it could be a slight increase for that, because we don't have that established yet.
What's that?
The new rates for Spillman and our licenses for email.
Oh, okay.
And then anticipating that usually our phone goes up.
Okay. Yeah, I
You know,
see it says.
costs go up slightly every year, and we're just estimating.
Okay. Any more?
I think I may have just corrected health insurance, health insurance.
Jennifer, where you were out in the hallway with Eric, we were having a question.
Okay.
On number 12,
Yeah.
town traffic patrol contract.
I think
It
should
says-
be $5,002, because it shows it here.
Remember the one that
The
said
one
40
You
grand?
said it's
Yeah.
corrected?
I fixed it.
Yeah.
I don't
Do
know
you
what it
know?
says now.
All right.
I can pull it
We're
up, but I think I
estimating.
have it up. Like,
Oh, I was gonna go teach over to Mount Abe. I think I'd come in and I want to volunteer first, right, to get my free fingerprints and have them transferred.
But you can't.
You
Yeah,
can't transfer
no.
them.
If you come as a volunteer and then you come as an employee,
then
they have to, they're two separate entities when they're entered into the system, so yeah,
I haven't
there's,
had mine done. I
So,
started doing school
Jen, if you
inspectors.
go on the big budget on line 371, I think that's your correct number, because that's town traffic patrol contract, and its actual is $5,002, which,
yeah, I think it
Split.
came from the right spot, it just didn't get put in the
Yeah.
right spot, which is a monthly thing that Peter does. I can pull it up right here.
and it should be right around $5,000 halfway through.
Yep,
the-
5,002
Yep,
even.
yep.
That was great.
That's better.
Yeah.
And then the taxes is up to 210,685. Which should put you at 50%, which is what it should be at.
Net raised by taxes?
Police taxes, I don't know what number that is.
Oh. The big paper.
Is this in whatever, general revenue, no. Oh, yeah, I guess the net rate, where does, all right, this is not. Yes, this number, this 175,571 should be
What line are you on?
210, 685.
210 what?
685, so you're at 50%,
Okay.
because he put it
I'm hearing
in
210, I'm hearing 29.
the town contract instead of in the taxes accidentally.
It's line 29.
Oh, the police one. Or
The police.
Yeah.
Of the
Okay.
police budget.
Yeah, it's down there as 175, 571.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that should be 210, 685.
Okay.
Well, Pete and I are good.
Yeah.
No, I just was.
Okay, no.
Okay. I'm
They're
all
free to
set.
leave.
Sorry.
That's all right.
General fund and capital budget workshop, general fund insurance, compensation, benefits, capital plan may include deliberation executive session regarding personnel matters. So, Jennifer, I think you're up. You was that one? Your budget's together or whatever?
So Jen had some additional adjustments since the spreadsheet was provided on Friday. Not sure how you wanna
Let me-
handle that.
I think I'm just gonna pull up the version that I sent you before this afternoon. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Or what's the
Well,
best
yeah,
way for
as
me
we
to
go
do
through.
this?
Either
The version
stick
that you were working from was not the most current version. Because Friday, the one I sent
Right.
out on Friday was the more current. But I mean, you can still work with it.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed in some of the adjustments you made had to do with Dominion Tech and the monthly fees.
Yeah.
So I had been going by $39 a month.
Right, but then there's this extra, I don't really know what it's called, but there's an extra piece that's getting budgeted that everybody is getting charged for. So when the,
It's like the $149 a month
Yeah,
divided
so-
by 10 or whatever.
right, so we're all kind of getting
It's
that.
another
So
basically
I thought,
15.
we might be double dipping them because I thought that was included in the
Well, each company,
general office or general.
I think I saw that notation earlier in the general computers,
Yeah.
right? So,
Oh, I see, let's see.
I mean, I know, I see it listing, in the listing department, they have under software, they have Dominion Tech, the $39 a month.
Yeah,
Right.
administration's office has it too.
right,
And is that per computer, right? That $39 is per computer?
yes.
So on page 1, line 59, we have about 1,700, 1,800 budgeted for that 149 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is I don't, so I think what I ended up doing is I must have forgotten about that piece of it and been allocating it to everybody's computer individually. So part of me was wondering if we wanted to stay doing it that way or, anytime we call them and we have any kind of tech support or help needed, they're billing us for that. So if we wanted to just basically say that everyone could pay for the tech support out of the general office and machine service line and then but pay for their 39 plus whatever their portion of the 149 and 149 a month is.
So is that 39 a month part of the 149?
That's
No, that's in addition.
in addition to.
That's not
Okay,
the
so-
everywhere, that's the general contract, 149, then every computer is $39.50.
Right, or 39.
So
Yeah.
what's the difference between, when they did this, I was
I know.
very unclear about what their charges were, so what's the 149 for and what's the 39?
The 149 is the monitoring. So it's the firewall, it's the
Okay.
giving you the
That's
monthly.
the security.
That's the security piece. The 39 is they've come to each individual computer in the office, they've installed this thing, so if we call and we say, help, something's wrong with my computer, they can immediately remote access your computer, they can get on there, they can see what's going on and or do
Okay.
anything that they need to do kind of from behind the scenes.
And there's also the cloud backup.
And the cloud backup was the other piece of the puzzle
Right.
that we had talked about.
When we call, are we paying them, or does the 39 include? No, the 39 just includes the monitoring ability.
Right.
The monitoring of it and the.
I had-
They got a racket.
Just the ability to monitor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
when I had my computer replaced and I had to call them about some printer driver
Right.
stuff, just that one little call was $88. It's like, ouch.
Yeah. So that's why part of me is wondering, like, is it worth to budget money for the phone call that we on occasion have to make? I mean, knock on wood, it's not often, but in the event that, like I think Meredith had to call either this month or last month, so I'm sure that something's coming here shortly for that. And like, do we want to just say that that's this $2,300 is everybody's general pool of money for tech support calls, and
Is
that
that
they
what we
pay
got
for
for
their.
computers, 23? I'm just,
Yes, that's what I see.
So
budgeted
we're
right
saying-
now. Or I don't know if that's what your sheet says. I guess
basically,
that's what I'm looking at.
each computer will break down once or need some tech support for $88. And
Right,
that's what,
so
is that how you
everyone's
come up with that
split.
2,300?
Well,
That's the
just based
149.
on
2,300 was 149 times 12.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's where that is, okay.
So I
But
don't know.
but that number, I mean, my understanding from what you guys are saying is that 149 doesn't cover a tech support call.
Right.
If that, there's
Just the
in
firewall.
addition.
Right,
Right, she
Yeah.
had to pay 88
Right,
for the
so
administration.
yeah,
is
so
that
where's-
gonna cover?
What
any
is
tech
that
support?
covering?
Well,
those
that's
12
what
computers?
that's like part of what I was
That's what I'm
trying to
asking.
bring to light was the fact of that we basically, while it's great to have the service, we still kind of are in this lieu of not having tech support, which is what we were kind of thinking, we were hoping. And I had called because I said, I thought I was under the impression we got a certain number of minutes a month or something. And they said, oh no, that's if you signed up for this next plan up. And I was like,
Which is
well, of course.
169.
You know, which is way more expensive
Right.
and not something that we needed. So then you're paying, you know, their high hourly rate, which they say is a discounted hourly rate,
Right, of
but
course it is.
which is fine. It's all things that we need and need to have in place. The bottom line is just, I think we need to put some kind of buffer in there for the event that we do have the tech support call, just because there is going to be the occasional call that has to be made and something has to get done, and whether it takes them 2 minutes or whether it takes them a half an hour, we currently have nowhere to pull that money
We
from.
got 12 computers we're doing,
10.
or 10.
Yes.
So it makes sense then to leave that extra.
Right, just trying to give a
Around
little buffer.
$1,800 if you said each computer's gonna get average 2 tech support calls a year.
Yeah.
I'm using your $88.
Right. So
That's about $1,800.
just making sure that we have some money in there in the event that we do need to call. I guess.
That's good.
So, you're not gonna allocate that 1,800 and split it over Public Works, Fire?
That's what she's saying. Leave
That's
it
what
in
I'm
one
thinking,
area.
is just leave it in one
One line.
item, so that,
Okay.
in one line, so that when I call, we're just gonna, even though it's clerk call, we're still just gonna code it to the general expense, and when Meredith calls, we're just gonna code it to the general
So I should put
expense.
it
So
down to
61
39.
should be another 1,800 there on line 61, because you said budgeted for
Well, so
tech
I was
support
thinking
needed
that
from them.
everyone paid their portion, so when I went through the budget and looked, I looked at how it was currently coded right now, and made my computer adjustments based on what I was physically paying at the moment. So I think what I did was I split the 149, I don't think it's coming from this general computer line. So my suggestion was to use the 2,300 as the tech support amount, and then adjust everybody else's computer line accordingly
Oh, I see.
to split that 149 or 150 amongst everybody equally based on their number of computers they pay for, was the suggestion that I was making.
Got it.
Sorry for that.
So the 149 times 10, and then you would figure out, okay, if Listers has 2 computers, they
They
would be
pay-
responsible for
Right.
whatever
Which is
percentage
how
of it.
it's done at the moment. Because this was an oversight on my part, is I didn't realize that Valerie had put this in the general. So when I had to figure out how to code the bill in July, I just split it amongst everybody's computers, because I was like, I think that's how I thought we remembered doing this. And so that's my error in that piece. But the adjustments I made to everybody's computer lines were based on how it was coded at the current moment in time, which split that 149.
Gotcha.
Which I think to me, that's fine,
Right.
you know, and then have the general line item for the phone calls.
Yeah,
I think that makes more sense.
yeah.
So Jen, I'm way back up on line 10, you're anticipating much less revenue from delinquent taxes penalties this year?
Well, so that's something we need to discuss, because we did a little bit of research as far as, so in 2018, they adjusted the delinquent rate to 4%. So that kind of hinders the penalty that we received. And then last year, we didn't talk about it at all. So I contacted VLCT, and Valerie and I had been in discussion about how do we make this so that there's some clarity, because right now there's no clarity. And VLCT advised that because it's an appointed position, that if they don't talk about it at all, it reverts to the 8%.
Right.
So this year we're at the 8% again for anything delinquent on April 6th.
At the last meeting, when we were reviewing the draft warning, and that was an
Okay.
article, we came up with 6%.
Oh, okay, so that I didn't know.
Yeah, split
So,
the difference between 8 and 4.
So, and even you can tell, like if you look back to 2017, that's an 8% year and we weren't collecting 16.
No, you got.
$16,000,
you got
almost 13.
Yeah.
And so
And
So the,
knowing that it's gonna go down a couple percentages, plus we do a mailing reminder now, so.
2018, 2019, you were at 21.
Well, I think that some of that is some audit adjustment numbers that have.
and that was at the 4%.
No.
18, 19?
No, this year's at 4%. So you don't know.
So
what
the
this year's
19 and 20, and it says actual through 12/31. I thought you said we, okay, we.
at. That's
voted-
at 4.
That's at 4%.
Right?
That's why I
No.
remember.
no.
No, wait.
Thought it was,
When it, where am I?
2018, 2019 should have been at 4%.
right.
2019, 2020
Right.
should have
So
been.
4% made us
Right.
21.5.
So this year will be.
this is.
Yeah, but
This
she
will
said
be
she
8.
thinks that was coded. There's
I
some-
think there's we had to make some adjustments from the audit, so I feel like that's a skewed number.
Okay, so you're comfortable with the 12.5?
I'm comfortable with the 12.5, knowing that it's gonna decrease a little bit.
Okay.
So 22, all police fines go back into the general fund, they don't go back into the police budget?
No. So, Bruce and I get to play this fun game of where did you write the ticket? And if right now, the way that it's coded is that if he wrote or an officer writes a ticket, and it doesn't necessarily have to be him, I guess any officer of the state, writes a ticket in
Bristol.
Bristol and it's not in the district, that comes to the
General
general fund. If it's within the district, it goes to the district
No.
fund.
So Bruce, if
we've
you're
been
following
fighting
somebody,
about
tell the
that.
opposite. If they're following somebody up by, the Twin
North Square
Bridges,
Rock.
follow them all the way until they get top of West East Street, then turn the blue lights on. Get in the district.
Yeah.
Jennifer, they're just knowing the audited number, line 23 and A and F 1920 actual through 12/31 of this year.
I'm sorry, can you tell me what line?
Line
you're looking
23
at?
again.
Which is what it's called?
Town
Town
clerk
clerk
fees.
Yes.
You took
No,
it
that number is an actual number.
23
So I upped our
437.
number.
So
Yep,
yeah, you upped it up from 33 to 36. Okay.
yep.
Does
Clerk
you-
fees have increased.
I was gonna say,
The
the
state,
recording fees.
the
have
recording
increased.
fees have increased, but the counter to that is that as has the record restoration contribution, so it does increase clerk fees is the bottom line.
Well, my question is, could you bump that another couple more and go to 38? The year before, you took an actual 39,068.
That's a crapshoot.
Is
Yes, because I
You
can't
never
tell you,
know.
I mean,
Who's gonna,
We're
how
trying
much
to-
sales go, how much
right,
purchases go?
it's all
you
based
just
on
don't
how
know.
many,
Oh, yeah.
how many land transactions happen in the
Or
year.
mortgages or whatever,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, if
Sure, she
I-
could bump it up, will she
we-
hit it?
we can bump it up. If not, I mean, I contemplated with 38 and kind of tossed
So you
it
had
around.
that conversation
and I
in
was-
your head.
Yes, and I am just more on the reserved piece of it. But if you want to bump to 38, I would be okay with that because I had thought about that. But that's something for you guys to decide.
37. 37.
I just always, like Michelle said, I just get nervous because like it's a great time right now and there's a lot of stuff happening, but something happens and
Well,
it all
like I
goes
say,
away,
if
and
your
I'd rather be reserved.
Best guess is 36 and you get 38, yay.
Right, because I can always overcollect, Joel. It doesn't even have to
Right.
stop at 36.
Yeah.
over deliver, under promise.
So has JR does our rubbish removal, right?
Yeah.
JR.
They
Have
just
contacted you?
are now. Yes, they
Oh,
called
yeah,
today.
sorry.
She was sending Sharon a new rate sheet.
Okay, good, because they just told
Yeah, it's
us
going
that
up.
it's going up
Yeah.
when we went to the dump this weekend. So those numbers may change.
Okay.
You mean line 72?
Yes.
Or,
I think there's some other
74.
rubbish removal.
I had a
Somewhere.
question. I highlighted it. I think I highlighted on the other one. where it shows the expense for the auditors.
Yep.
Just to put it on my other one in here. Show me where that is. Yeah, right here. No,
Professional services.
Professional services, here,
Yeah.
236. Because we got that grant, possibly got that grant, that Northern Borders.
Right.
Will we have to have an independent audit? You say here, do we have enough covered? 22 going to cover those audits? Because we've had a couple of grants that we're going to have separate, single audits, right? You call them?
Right.
Follow what I'm saying?
Yep, I do, yeah.
Well, we would have to pay for that, not the person who gets the grant.
Well, we had
I mean,
that.
like,
We had.
well, we have the Northern grant that's, you know, we're part of it, but it's not really for us.
Well, like the one we just approved for, you know, no cost to us, so to speak, the study for the sidewalk thing of $21,000. Does that require a separate audit?
So the only thing, what
Or is that
triggers a
because it comes
separate,
to
or what triggers a single audit is federally expended funds, and if you spend more than $750,000 in federal funded grant money in a year. So what triggered that was our USDA bond, because that was considered federally
Correct.
funded.
So is that why
So
2018, 19 were like 27?
Right, because we had to have a single. I guess I don't know enough about the Northern Borders grant.
That's $500,000.
So, okay, it came to mind, I just thought I'd ask the question. I'm sure we had
And
enough.
and the Main Street project, I don't think that has any kind of funding. That's all state. So at the moment, we're under the threshold.
Right. I don't know enough about that. Northern Borders grant, I guess, to be able to answer it.
It is
to
federal
give you-
funding.
It is federal funding.
Economic development.
But I guess we'd have to, I can reach out to our auditors and just ask, is this considered our money spent even though it's not our money?
Ordinarily, the applicant, the town, would be responsible for paying it, for the single. Sometimes you can include that in the grant funding, but in this case.
Right, but I didn't know if,
happening.
because it's for Kevin.
Right.
If it's really.
In other words, should the beneficiary pay?
Right.
Well,
if we're forced to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I had a question on Valerie, 190, 91, and 92.
So let's go page by
Go-
page.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
that's
jumping
all right.
around.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page, which page are we
I'm
on?
back
I'm
on
on
page
page
2.
two.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right.
I'm the.
I mean, I think we all have different things as we jump
Yeah.
all over the
Right.
place. It's not
We
gonna
can't
Okay.
get it.
Rubbish.
65,
We get up there.
above rubbish.
Okay.
65,
Yep,
you're
go ahead.
advertising, you're at 1.6% so far. I mean, it's a small amount, but I'm just curious.
Yeah,
I see there's like a note, FY 2018, a lot of advertising for personnel.
right.
Does that cover advertising for like the police positions, things like that?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it hasn't.
Right.
I say that because Bruce and I joke about that all the time. So we typically that's for like you're gonna have to publish your warning
Yeah.
here at some point, which is an advertising cost. Typically, I mean, I don't know what else you're gonna have to publish and or any jobs you may or may not advertise for, anything that has to go out to bid for any kind of
Right.
construction
It's nice to have
project.
it.
I mean, it's that kind of money. It's
Yeah.
certainly, I mean, we could look at what we paid last year for the Addison to put the town warning in there to at least get a good idea about that solidified piece. I don't know if you have anything that you can think of coming down the pike that would be kind of advertising-esque. Like, I don't know if you have to do anything for this grant for Kevin Harper or not, or.
No, so far I've been doing everything online and the state bid system, so I have not
Okay.
used paid.
Because we were over 2018, 19, but then we're
Yep.
like 1.6% now. So I'm curious, like, are we suddenly
Yeah.
going to use that the
Of
rest
course,
of the
you
year?
haven't, yeah, one of those expenses is, the 2338 was the town report last year, because that was last year's money.
Right.
This year isn't in there yet.
Yeah, so I can look to see kind of what a guess at, and maybe we can cut, 1,000 from it if we can get just the town report in there and.
What did you guys
Give
tell
us
me
a buffer.
earlier? It's a crapshoot.
It is.
Yeah,
No,
the FY18 figure was because we had so much turnover, so
Right.
we
Right.
advertised in
For
7
positions.
days. and
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
As an independent and several times, and
Mhm.
yeah, that was a good one.
So just a quick question on line 88, which is the health insurance, just in general, this is the administrator's office, but, okay, the 8.9% increase, is that what we know that health insurance is going up? And at this point, the
Well-
employees are paying 11%.
15.
I know we did it in
15.
steps, 15%.
Well,
But the town,
so-
at this point, the town is eating the whole increase.
No.
No.
We eat so I change it every time we get a new premium.
That's what I was gonna ask, how do you decide?
So what I do is I take everybody's monthly cost
Mhm.
and then I figure out what it is for the year, figure out what 15% of it is, split it over 52 weeks because we get paid weekly and that's what's deducted from their paycheck. So like in January, I just upped it for everybody because we got new premiums.
So what you do is you add the 8.9% to whatever the total premium is, and then to
Right,
figure
whatever
out
the
what
new bill
15%,
shows me is.
whatever
Yeah.
15% of that is.
Yep. So our exposure is continuing to increase as the rate
Increase,
increases.
Right. Okay. That's what I knew that there was an incremental increase, and I was trying to figure out how you guys were doing that.
In the executive session part of your packets, there's the health insurance spreadsheet with all the employees spread out there. And it's divided because the insurance is based on a calendar year.
Right.
So the first 6 months is what we know the premium to be now,
Right.
and then we add 15% projected
Right.
increase and
Mhm.
add those two together, and that's where it comes.
Okay.
So even though the actual increase was, in some instances, 11%, when you add that projected increase over the second half of the fiscal year, that's why it
It's,
changes.
I asked that question in the police budget, and so you say the health benefits went up 9%, 8.9.
11, actually.
11,
Yeah.
but we've got some changes here, so that's why they're down. The increase on the budget's only 8.9.
Correct.
So how do you said you were figuring 12% the first 6 months?
Well, what the rate is right now, and then we project an additional 15% for the
So-
Because we know the
projected
rate
6
for
months.
July through December. What we don't know is the rate for January through June of next year.
Next year,
So she does a 6-month.
right?
She probably takes the premium. I'm assuming I've seen her sheet. She takes the premium and then
Increases it
Today's-
by 15%.
increases
Yeah.
it by 15% and then
So then you
accommodates
put
for
that
at
in the
80.
budget, which refers to an 8.9. I just was trying to figure out why that was 8.9 and the police was 21% increase. I couldn't.
Well, you can't look at ours, like the admin and the clerk, because there are, also in your executive session section, on the large personnel sheet, on the second page of that, you'll see how the clerk and the town administrator are distributed,
divvied out
yeah,
amongst
to the police, water, and sewer. So it's not a one-to-one.
Okay, all right. That's
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Going down through, we got workman's comp went down some. That's reflected across most departments. Retirement went up a little. Disability went down a hair.
So for computer and equipment, do you have it in terms of all the computers? You have a set years that you're replacing, and is it individual for each office, like the administrator versus?
Oh, so they did we paid them to do well, they came in and kind of scoped everybody
Inventory
out.
of everything,
Inventory, thank
yeah.
you. Couldn't think of the word. And they came in, told us everybody's age of the computer,
Okay.
year of the computer, and then I think they told us we needed to be on a 4 to 5 year replacement schedule. So we don't budget for actual computers anymore because we've established the capital technology fund.
Right.
So
Okay.
we use that funding, which is actually kind of nice because in the event that something happens sooner than it should,
Yeah,
we
it's
do
there.
have that capital
Okay.
money. So anything that you see in people's budgets as far as computers and software goes is what the
Licensing.
actual stuff is for that year, like the cost
Okay.
for that year.
I mean, you may want a computer equipment. It's just a particular thing. You could put software or something like that where it's more particular, where it's not an actual physical computer anymore.
Yeah,
If you wanted to be more granular in terms of that.
Okay, so that, I think, like, if you
because that's
go
all
to-
software, right? I mean, it's support, and then Emmerich and Office 365 is
I
software.
think
So
mine is renamed as that under the clerk treasurer. I don't know if everybody's
Software
got
and
rid of
programming,
it, but
yeah.
mine's
Okay, great.
changed
That's
to that,
perfect, yeah.
so it would make
Okay.
sense to change everybody to software and programming.
and I looked on the Dominion thing. It's like 100. That updated plan is 129 per user.
Right.
So that's definitely a lot more than
expensive.
paying what we're paying now,
Right.
even if we did a few calls for
Right.
tech support.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else set with the, then through the town through lines 110 and 111? Okay, and then we'll go to the clerk treasurer's office. Okay, this is where Jen wants to, she's gonna reduce her hours by a little bit, down to 32.
I thought you told us 30.
Well, 30 to 2. My proposal would be to be salary because when Sharon goes on vacation, I'm gonna have to work, and it's just a lot easier instead of me trying to guess. Like, yeah, I'm gonna work 30, but 32, 30 hours, and then cover, and I just as soon stay at a salary and then cover when I need to cover and make sure that I'm at least working my 30 to 32, if not.
And that's a clean
More than- and it's just
48-hour
easy.
days.
Right. It's just a little bit easier than, as long as that's all right with you all.
So, if the voters approve this change we want, to appoint the clerk, and we appoint Sharon,
Yes.
she'll be paid 20 hours for clerk work out of your budget. Correct? Am I seeing that? And so it says
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, but she'd be working 40, and somebody comes in and says, want to buy a dive license or do something, that's clerk thing, and then say, when Valerie comes out and needs her to do something, she does that.
Because she's still the administrative assistant.
She's still the administrative
And the
assistant.
assistant treasurer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to quantify the hours, which is why, while she is considered an hourly employee, we pay her like a salaried employee because it's hard to split. So we've created the best we can these splits, and it's what we found is that it's a lot easier to just take best guess. And right now, best guess for me is that I work 20 hours clerk and 20 hours treasurer because I'm a 40-hour week position. I couldn't tell you. I mean, coming
No,
up, I'm
I
gonna
get
say
that.
I work
I
less,
get that
you know,
part.
so it's
But I
hard
was
to
trying to
quantify.
find- Sharon's salary up above.
So she's just
administrative
included.
office.
Oh, so she's in the
And then-
admin assistant
Admin
line,
assistant section.
which
Yeah,
is a
there's
new
line
line created
378.
that we
I
created
couldn't
last
jump, I
year.
couldn't jump ahead, so.
No, but I'm just telling you, that's,
Okay.
right, that's the line item.
All
So
right.
that's where the rest
That's where I was
of
trying
her
to find it,
is.
that's all.
Yep.
Okay, and I know Valerie's gonna retire, so. Okay.
Make sure you quantify which Valerie.
It's like Val Hansen.
Much love, Val.
Val and Valerie.
Okay,
And-
no, she's not completely.
And if you want to look at the source of these personnel figures, it's on that large spreadsheet on that page 2 where the different departments are
Yeah.
apportioned
Right.
to police, water and sewer.
Okay.
Actually, not police anymore.
Right. It's just water and sewer.
Water and sewer.
Okay. Okay, so wanna flip the page to page 3?
Sure do.
So Jen, on 155 microfilming, you have a note,
Yeah.
pays for safe deposit boxes. Is that on the right line?
Yes. Because
Under
we are
microfilming?
required,
Yeah, I
because
thought
we're
the same
required to
thing.
store, we're required to store these microfilms in like
Oh, once you
basically
get 'em back.
offsite once we get them
Oh,
when we
okay.
used to. So now we don't get anything back anymore
now
because of
It's
the
all
new system.
digital, right?
But what we used to have to do is we'd have to store it somewhere, and because we'd have to, so we have safe deposit boxes at National Bank of Middlebury and Community Bank. So we have to pay annually for
Okay.
those. So that's why I kept that 300 in there because
Okay.
that's what that pays for.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion on that.
How many years do you have to keep it?
Forever.
Ever, okay.
Can you use the safe deposit box for anything else?
There's no room
Oh, no.
because I was on the list to get a bigger one, and then we finally changed over.
150 equipment. I mean 750,
Nine.
but nothing.
Yeah. So
Any ideas of what it might
yes. So I kind of hang that as my buffer a little bit, as something that I use if I need to and
Yeah.
don't if I don't. But the plan would be, so right now we only have one color printer in here, and that's in the lister's office. So I think we like that color printer. And so the plan would be, at least hopefully for this year, to replace the printer in my office with another one of those.
And that's not out of the technology fund?
I try to do it within my budget when I can.
Yeah.
Save that for the big
So you don't use
purchases.
the copier?
I do use the copier for big prints, but it is kind of tough when people come in and they're
Yeah,
like,
copying.
"Oh, we need this like something printed in color," or "Did you get that?" And then Valerie's printed it so beautifully and it's in this nice grayscale. So it's just nice to have another color printer on hand. And Peter Ryan's printer is going to need replacing,
Yeah,
and
okay.
Sharon's going to be in there next year. So that's why I keep it, but
Okay.
I kind of reserve it as my extra. But if you want to take out of it, that's fine.
No, that's fine. I know, you know, it's easy to look at that,
Yeah.
how much has been spent, and just
Right.
sort of, and ask about that. So
Absolutely.
postage too looks like a
Yes.
huge.
I
increase.
increased that because we have to pay to send everybody's absentee ballots to them when they request them by mail. So,
With another election this year.
and we have 3
Okay.
elections that we're gonna have to pay for, because we have
The primary,
the primary in August, the primary or the presidential election in November, and then next March
right.
is town meeting again. So there's 3 elections.
Yeah.
We have to pay for that postage to get it to them. We don't have to pay for the return. And Sharon, just told me that postage rates were increasing
Yeah.
on the 20th of this month again. But she didn't seem to think that the way she had read it, that it wasn't necessarily going to affect metered mail as much as
Okay.
it was going to affect you and me mailing anything else.
Okay. All right. Any more questions on that page?
No, but Mark's not taking over for Craig?
No.
He is.
He is.
Pretty sure someone
No, you were
somebody
saying,
else.
I heard you say about the
Yeah, he's been
printer,
recruited.
He's trying to get you in there, huh?
and then
Yeah.
another color printer.
Yeah.
You guys don't send it all in one printer?
Well, so like Sharon, all of her stuff goes to the copier by default, just because there's no space up there for another printer.
Right.
Valerie has a printer in her office, but I think she uses it sparingly, kind of as needed, and prints most of her stuff to the copier.
Because the toner's expensive.
And so the printer in my office, it depends on what I'm doing. Like I have to have one because I have to print checks.
Correct.
And it's a lot
Well-
easier to print checks sitting right here and being able to feed it than it is worrying about 6 people printing to the copier and printing on the checks.
Right,
So-
no, I get that part, but
yeah.
I just, I know a color printer is a lot more expensive to buy than,
Well, I
I
think
just want you
that
just all send
was
it to-
They've gotten
Yeah,
cheaper.
they're not.
Yeah.
They're
Not
the
that
same.
expensive.
like I feel like we spent like $350 on Craig's, and that's like a nice, like high. It came recommended by NIMRIC to print these property record cards that had the pictures and the sketch and
Right.
everything on them, and since then, like once we did that first really big print of all this, we haven't really. Like
Used
we don't use it enough to make it so that it's super expensive. We use it as kind of as needed, but it's nice to have the option because we don't pay the extra money to have a color copier because that's expensive.
no, it is, yes. Okay,
Color copiers are about 8 cents a copy.
right.
And then you
Kind of
have to
color.
like put everybody to make a department code on there so that you know who to pay for it
Well, we don't have to
because
do that at the office, but.
right. Well, because you're all one,
Right.
but that would be the next.
Are we adding any more people for the Office 365 with like the emails and things like that?
I think we're pretty much done. The only people who are left to switch over
144.
is the road crew.
Right. What about the fire department?
Police isn't
They-
there, is it?
At least have the.
They do
Government.
the state,
Oh.
Yeah.
so he has that. The fire department, well, they are all Gmail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got
And
the
they kind of
Gmail.
all haven't. Do you? I don't know. Can you explain this? Do you
No.
all have this? Okay. Then I'm
No,
not
he's
sure.
got,
He's gonna ask.
Well,
But he has
I
the-
mean, it's
he
a
has
town
the figure.
department, so I feel that at some point it should be
Maybe.
like under the town.
Yeah.
Not that I'm forcing that, but it's like
Right,
when you have
no.
it, this is a Gmail address, you know, things can happen, you know, and
Right.
having Dominion, you're paying them to protect
Right.
you for certain things.
Because
and
we
so-
haven't paid them to do the fire department at this
Right.
point in time.
But I'm
or the
wondering,
police
like,
department, right?
you know, just for the future,
Something to
like,
think about,
yeah.
for sure.
Okay. All right, we all set with page 3? You want to talk a little bit about the Lister's office, and we may need to contract and...
Well,
hopefully
if,
not.
if nobody runs and we still don't know with Teresa if she's going to be able to stay or not,
The last word I received last week was that she
She
doesn't
can't
think she
stay.
can.
I got that word on
well
Saturday.
then, but
So
it'd be
I'll
like
make a
any other
motion.
position, you would advertise and you could appoint, correct?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you got no one,
Right. I guess, yeah, and then we may deficit spend in that department if we don't get anyone, and then we have to hire an assessor to
Yeah.
go out.
and I believe I've been told that Craig is willing to help out,
Right.
train someone, or, I mean, he's been training Mark, but it hasn't been that long, so.
Right. Are we all set with that page then? Page 3? Page 4?
So I just want, curious on all these, with the salaries, and you've got like a percentage of increase on all of them, is that just a suggested raise that's increasing them?
It's in the personnel spreadsheet. It's just a budget number.
Okay, well, I mean, I know, I looked at
Yeah.
that, so that's what I was trying to coordinate.
Right.
She
Where
ties. She has a nice little
Tie them in.
loop-de-loop that they're tied.
They're linked.
So like if you
Is that the
change
technical
that,
term,
then it
the loop- the
automatically
loop-de-loop?
changes
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's got a nice little connection going on there.
But the budget currently bakes in 2.5%
Mhm.
across the
Okay.
board.
Okay.
So is there no, in planning and zoning, there's no health insurance, right, because it's
Part-time.
part-time?
Correct.
How many hours is part-time?
20.
Anything below 30 is
Right.
considered part-time.
Although for us, 24 because Beamers kicks in if you work more than 24 hours a week.
Okay. I had a question on the attorney fees. And we've been staying flat pretty well, 2,500. 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, we put 3,500. We haven't spent anything in 2 years. Could we cut that 500? I know it's a lot of money, but
Well, it could also come out of the other
or could we cut it?
line item for professional fees. We do have the zoning regs coming up for revision, so we might
Right.
want to get some legal eyes on certain sections of that.
Yeah, I think I'd leave it.
Leave it.
Um,
Okay.
Or appeals, if somebody appeals something, then that would go for,
Yeah, it doesn't take long to spend 2,500.
Well, we have it in 4 years, so
Well,
3 years.
Right.
Never spent a dime, so.
Yeah, but if we don't have it on the line item, then what happens?
Yeah.
It's called deficit spend. Have we told Eric, take it out of somewhere else?
Yeah. He wants to take it from me.
Okay.
The planning service, is that the number for Astor County Regional Planning?
correct, or whatever.
Didn't they ask for an increase this year?
Uh-huh.
That's different. That's a different line.
That's why I was wondering, is that,
Okay,
that's
it's not
not
there.
that
This is for
number?
contracting with them to do special things such as the zoning regs, the subdivision regs, town plan support.
Mhm.
And if it's not them, then we could, in some instances, might hire a planning consultant or a
Mhm.
landscape architect or whatever, other kind of professional
Right.
services for a specific
Okay.
project.
And for some of
Graphic
those,
design, kind of whatever.
right, for some of those we received grants for
Right.
like the enhanced energy plan.
And,
Well,
and
I
we
guess-
need to do a match. So oftentimes we have to provide a match that if we can't meet it with in kind, then that would
Right.
come out of that line item.
Well, I hate to ask the question then, but is that enough? Because they're rewriting the zoning, the subdivision.
Yeah, but they're already
regs.
doing that. They've
Yeah,
already
that's
started
every- this
that.
They're
fiscal
planning
year.
to vote
Oh, we're gonna bring those,
shortly
Yeah.
by November.
we'll have them done by June 30th then.
They'll be further along. I think it'll go beyond June 30th, probably.
But probably right.
Revision.
Like
But we
I
won't
said,
need their eyes on that after June 30th. Or
unless there's
eyes.
some kind of significant change, I wouldn't think, because I think that
Well, we
from
don't
my
have
understanding and
subdivision.
chatting with
We
Chris
don't
is
have
that they're
subdivision
planning.
regulations.
Well, they're planning on bringing all that to everyone's vote in November, by November, I think,
think that's the goal.
was one goal at one point in time, but maybe next town meeting at the latest.
Okay.
Knowing that there's 3 elections coming up, I think they're
Right.
trying to coordinate with something that's already going on.
So Joel, are you thinking about reducing that figure?
No, I would just, if you said about, well, if Addison, if the subdivision regs, they gotta throw their eyes on it and this and that, and we're not going, are they gonna throw their eyes on it from July 1 to November? Or October 1st, 4 months, and say, you need to tweak these before they go to vote? It's- I guess 31, they're at 31 right now. So.
My guess is there's probably an invoice that's
Well,
out
I
there
think
that hasn't come through yet.
Chris is pretty good about communicating, as is regional planning. Like if you say, this is what we have to work with for a budget, regional planning is pretty good about not trying to blow your budget out of the water as far as like,
You may say,
they're gonna
"We
continue to
need
help
more
with the
money, but
service,
we'll make
but
billing you-
Right.
We'll hold off billing you half of it or something.
just
Okay.
working with you in the sense of knowing that you're not budgeting $15,000 a year for them to come work on that.
Okay, we all set on that page? Michelle, Peter?
Not sure.
It doesn't have a page, so. I'll go this way. Page 4, page 5. Okay.
The town report line, that 950, that's the number that we contracted with Repro? No, is that what you
Yes, repro.
For the next 2 years.
I don't think I saw that contract. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It is, let me, if I can pull it up. Let's see.
I think that's the correct number, 950.
Yeah, I just can't
For
remember.
3
but it's the
years.
2 years.
2 years?
Right. They
Mhm.
usually hold it.
Mhm.
950.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, we discussed the auditing fee earlier. Meeting elections, you're gone up a little bit because of 3.
oh my God, she reduced our select board salaries.
Well,
Wait, what?
if you look at the history, you could reduce it down more. I mean, historically, I think we put
Well,
6,000.
come on, Tim, I'm hoping somebody says, give us a raise.
Well, you can propose one.
Yeah, I don't feel right doing that for myself. I get mad at the people in our state and federal government who vote on their own damn raises.
I could do it.
Yes, you could.
From the stage.
Yeah, I think you could reduce it some more. I mean,
Okay.
Right.
but
Well,
this,
it's
but
guessing
this
at how
number,
much meetings you're gonna
Right.
have. That's the
and,
problem.
We had
and
more-
this current number is kind of a little off because
Well, you just
you just paid us.
wrote checks and
Right.
Right.
She wrote them in January.
after
After the
Right.
31st of December.
Right.
so.
So that'll change.
Yeah, that'll change
Yeah.
Right.
significantly, but it's not going to be much different than
Than the previous
previous
year.
2 years.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine
Yeah.
it's gonna be that much different.
And Ian, I just didn't pay you because you'd only been to one meeting. I will. Okay.
I haven't earned that money yet.
So I was like,
So you thinking you want to put it down to 7?
Totally
I was
fine.
saying 65.
65.
Peter, you want to cut that to 65?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at the history and
I mean, unless we get a raise,
it's.
Or you have a lot of
it's-
meetings
yeah,
that are gonna
I
come
don't
down
know
the
why-
pike, but.
Let's go to
I
7.
don't see that.
Well,
Seven?
actually, I'm going to be proposing, whether this gets approved or not, that the select board after March switch to like a second and fourth Monday or first
Oh.
and third, so just 2 a month.
That'd be nice.
Isn't that all we have anyway?
Well,
Well,
there's
it's 3,
Sundays.
and there's 5 Mondays.
Yeah.
They
Or
sometimes
5
work.
Mondays in a month.
I'm fine leaving it where it is because it's insignificant money, really.
Right.
Right.
So you're saying leave it at 75?
For sure.
Okay.
I honestly think the chair should get more. It's a lot more work to be chair than to be a regular member. And,
You have to deal with me a lot.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, but that's, the voters have to approve that, right?
Yes.
They would have,
But,
somebody would have to propose that and approve it, don't they?
I mean, they vote to set it, right? But I don't know, to alter it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything
because I know
else,
most of the
people?
most of the
The,
towns do that. The
Conservation
sheriff gets
Commission?
more money.
Where's that?
Yes,
272.
yes.
So is that only for Green Up Day? Or is that
Green Up
their-
Day, plus they pay a annual membership fee to
Oh.
some conservation something or
Days,
other.
$200.
And I'm sorry, that's not. But and
Well,
then
it's nice to know that Green Up Day gets a little
participate in Green Up
stipend.
Day. So yes,
Okay.
Can we do a bang up gentleman holiday?
I think
They
that we
do.
get some
Well,
good
we-
participation.
we-
For sure.
Last year we combined the Energy Committee and the Conservation Commission combined, and it was like a green expo, which was quite successful. So
I don't know, but I am always so amazed how much garbage I pick up on the road.
Yeah.
Well, if you're running or like riding a bike and you see in the spring and it's just amazing how much junk there is.
Bottles and cans and tires and.
Yeah.
Tires is what's the
Yeah.
So 274, the Energy Committee used to be 200, and then I got knocked down to 100. I think that's because it wasn't active.
Because they haven't spent any.
They're not using your money.
Spending it for 3 years.
Well, as a past chair, I had no idea that there was money available.
Oh.
I was never told that. It is nice to have money though, so I don't know if that can be
Oh, pass that on.
increased to
What can
like 200 or something. You know, just to give us.
Out of curiosity, what would you spend it on? Not
That's what I was gonna
I'm just-
ask.
Well, some of it was, I mean, what did we do last year? Yeah, a lot of it was sort of printing, just working with Efficiency Vermont to do the button up. You know, they provided a certain amount, but we did a lot for promotions. Some of it was like just simple things like Facebook advertising for the event to get people to come to the event. I mean, it's just nice.
Up to you guys.
It's nice to know that it's
Yes.
not all member contributed in
Sure.
terms of that money. I mean, you can leave it at 100, and then we can
Well, and I
see
thought
how it's
we
used.
Did we pay Richard for the water barrels? Who paid?
Richard
I thought
Butts?
we paid. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought we paid him for the water.
Right, there was
barrels.
that. But yeah, there was.
There's
Yeah, but where'd that
something
money
about
come
water
from?
barrels? Well, that's
That's
what I
not
don't know.
energy.
Was that
Well,
conservation?
That was
I don't know.
conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I have them mixed up. That's the problem.
Right.
Sorry.
So what's the pleasure?
Well, let's leave it at 100 and just.
Let's see, they spend
them know.
100.
I'll let the committee know that there is $100.
There is $100
which is nice.
there for
Yeah.
them.
They spend
Yeah.
125, we'll pay the
Spend it
bill.
all.
Right, exactly.
And then, yeah, or we'll pay it.
It's all in the town report, Ian.
Right.
Everybody goes through this, it's just like we do.
So wasn't it last year or the year before, light bulbs?
Yes.
So where did that come from?
Part
But
of
weren't
that-
they donated?
No, it was a grant that Richard got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think we thought that we
Which
didn't have
committee
anything.
is he on?
He was on both.
Oh, okay.
I asked him to be
So
on
that's
Energy
why-
Committee. He's now,
okay.
he resigned from the conservation, so
Okay.
he's only on Energy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I have confusion.
Correct.
Okay.
If we can just get him on planning and then,
Liability insurance, electrical is staying about the same. Mowing,
yeah.
okay.
So are we not putting any money in the tree planting line? I mean, I'm just thinking of the
Yeah.
ash trees and that.
Well, that's true
I-
removal, right?
Well,
Is what
Yeah.
we
I
agreed.
mean, usually we
We
replace
Where are
usually
you
put
trying
that,
to
Right.
usually
replace?
put removal in the
Road crew.
road crew.
Or
Yeah.
the
road.
Right.
public works.
And that's
Public
zero also right now.
Yeah, so there's a very good chance we're going to have to remove some.
Oh, yes.
And I guess
Probably
from way
plant them.
back, from my understanding, I don't know if it's a policy or that if you take one out, you put one in.
Well, we don't add one to the park unless we take one out.
No, we're talking about along the roadsides.
Just,
No, well, no, the policy for the town park here, someone wants to put one in someone's name that passed away.
well, when we had the controversial one by Doug Corkins,
Yeah.
Doug said when he was on the select board that, I don't know if it was in
It's
writing
just an
or,
unwritten rule.
I think
That-
it's unwritten.
Along the roadway
take
in the
that.
village here,
Yeah.
Right.
yes. If
Yeah.
we took one down.
yeah,
You put one in.
yeah. So
I put,
technically,
you
we
go
should be
good and pay
putting
for my 2 pint Christmas trees on my front lawn. The town took those 2
They're on
big-
your lawn, not in the right of way.
the town took the 2 maples in the right of way. Down.
well, bring it up.
No,
But, but I guess by that, we should
Right.
putting a tree in front of
Probably.
Chesley's house, because we took that ash tree out.
Right.
And they don't care.
And I think the Conservation Commission is working on that plan,
Yeah.
and it's pretty expensive.
Oh,
So
it
that's
is.
what I'm saying,
It
I think
is.
we need to
Because it's already,
start
it's like,
considering.
I don't know if it's hundreds of trees, but it's
There,
pretty high.
There's
as you
I
walk
mean, that's in
around,
the, that are in the town,
there's
right?
4 or 5
Right.
just on the park. And I
Right.
think we need to do, as a
Right.
board, we need to
yeah,
have a plan for this spring on those. Are we going to inject those? Are we going to save at least a month in the park?
Right, which I think is what the conservation, they're
well.
working on that, but we have to figure out
They're
even
working
how.
on that, but
we're
there
paying
are
for
a
that.
lot of ash trees just in the village, in the right of way.
Yeah.
Or on their way out.
So for that line item, it says tree planting. I'm wondering if it's possible to change that to tree maintenance rather than planting. That way,
Right.
Change it to whatever we want.
So that would encompass removal
I'd like to
and
put some money
replacement.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to put some money there.
Well, we used
Well,
to have
If
money.
there's, I thought we moved the tree removal from Public Works to Parks. No?
I don't think so. I think
We
they
talked about
both
it
got
last
zeroed
year.
out.
I thought,
I guess my recollection of all of it was that we weren't gonna
I thought highway got
add more trees until we could finish getting rid of the dead ones, because
You-
the issue was that there was a lot of dead ones in the town right of way that needed to be taken care
Page
of.
6, you have 290 under parks, it's 2016 tree removal, but I don't know if that's, I'm just doing a find on the document.
And on page 12,
290.
I know we're skipping, but we're talking about
Page
trees. Highway has $6,000 budgeted for tree work. Last line on page 12.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 700.
So should we put all tree stuff in one place? I would think.
Well, there's parks and then there's
Right.
roadways. Which
Okay.
is different.
All right, I
Mhm.
agree.
And on this subject, this week, the grant application is due for the Emerald Ash Borer Strategic Plan. It's a $5,000 grant up to, and it's a 50/50. I'm working on the budget now, but there's a pretty good chance that in order to maximize the grant funding, we need to cough up some cash match.
So
because
can
I
we
don't
put the
think we can do it.
$5,000 in there?
Well, honestly, I think this would be a good conversation sometime, not tonight, for the Andrew Johnson Fund,
Right.
for
Yeah.
tree work.
Yes,
We could, if we got that grant and they said you gotta come up with a match, we could reach into that.
yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
But
Because
I think that's another night conversation, we're doing budget
But
work.
that,
But we
that's
gotta
what we
do
said,
roads.
it has to do with trees, and that's
Right.
exactly what we said we wanted to do.
Okay.
But you said you only wanted to use the interest.
Right.
So that's
That's how it's
prohibiting
been.
you.
Right, it probably hasn't. But if we put maybe 1,500, a couple of grand into this line, tree planting, then we reached into that and got another,
I've changed.
Whatever
it to
the
We
interest-
planting
can't
and
reach into
maintenance.
that, because it's
Well-
invested.
we can reach into the interest.
No, it's invested.
What we,
You're not gonna get the interest for 24 months, because it's in a CD.
You can get your interest
you
anytime
get your interest
on a
anytime.
CD.
Yeah, you can take the interest out. My understanding is you can take the interest out.
Yeah,
Won't
penalty
affect
free.
the- Yeah.
But if you take out more, you
Right.
get a
Yeah,
reduction.
exactly. You can't take out more than the
You
interest.
can't take out the base. Not that I've ever done it, but I,
Do we want to put anything on 286, tree planting?
I think-
maintenance.
Right, I think if it's
Slash
tree
planting.
maintenance, then I
Well,
think we
yeah,
need
I
to, we
think-
need to turn to the Conservation Commission to see what they're doing in terms of the larger picture.
Well,
about-
we
about
won't know
trees.
that until we do this work of the inventory and coming up with a strategic plan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all related. So
What
that
if
really
you
So at
just
least
match
put-
take
it?
shape.
Why can't you just match the grant for
Yeah, just put the
5,000?
$5,000 in this
Yeah.
line item.
I don't think it's gonna be a $10,000 project. So
But whatever's left you can use for tree removal,
Right.
right?
Or
So-
whatever else we
So
might
that-
need.
right.
So just put 5 in
Yeah.
there?
So if you do
Yeah.
5, then you have your matching
Yeah.
grant fund at least, and then if you don't get up to that, then you have money to take trees down.
Sounds good. Sounds good, thank you. Yeah, because I expect we'll be accounting for a lot of in-kind
I
match
guess
with that.
I'm a little reluctant to increase that much.
What was supplies?
Huh?
279. What are town park supplies? I mean,
Sorry, what, how much are you increasing that line?
We're not sure.
We're discussing
Discussing
$5,000.
$5,000. I'd rather split it and give it, part of it to the conservation for trees, but then they could use it for something else.
Same, they could use it from this line too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about supplies, Meredith and I chatted.
You proposed increasing it to 800 in what you gave me today.
Well, that's level.
It'd be level
Okay.
funded.
Right.
So,
What did
because what's
we-
in there now is 100.
Right, I guess I was thinking of the maintenance line, not the supply line, but I guess it's kind of an overage for making sure that that playground is, because we gotta
Yeah.
do some work on that playground,
Good.
she's gotta get mulch, she's gotta get whatever, so $2,800 is more than enough, I think, to get that done.
Okay, that's good.
Where's the 28?
Sorry, I'm combining two
800,
lines. 800 in supplies, so if she needed supplies to do that on top of the $2,000 maintenance line that's on.
Oh, I
I
see.
think I'm one off from you guys, so it must be 290.
Got it. All right.
You're talking for this year.
Right, for,
Okay.
because that's stuff that's gotta happen. Just, there's a couple rotting boards on that playground, and
Yeah.
we definitely need more mulch, and it's some special kind of mulch that doesn't
It's the
have,
rubber
I
stuff,
don't know.
whatever.
Well, no, it's the seed, it's like the wood chips that don't have any treatment,
Yeah.
aren't
It's when-
treated or
it's when our
something.
kids are chewing on them.
Oh my God, we all survived.
Now, and then,
Back to the trees. Now,
Okay.
back, sorry, Mary. Back to that tree planting. There's a lot of
Tree maintenance.
Tree maintenance.
maintenance slash, I like to call it planting too.
so tree planting and maintenance is what it's called.
What's your pleasure?
So right now.
I'm fine putting the
$5.
$5,000 in
I'm fine
there.
with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but conservation can reach into that.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't the conservation also have a capital, doesn't
Oh,
it
yeah.
get money?
God,
Yeah.
you guys-
Money every year,
Yeah.
I don't,
so.
But they
don't
have a
mean to
reserve.
say this disrespectful about trees, but boy, what I asked for 5,000 for sidewalks, who they've been chomping about at town meeting the last 2 years. You
Come
guys
on,
are-
they increased
in
the
there.
amount we
It's
put in
in
the
there.
capital.
Oh, yeah.
For now.
They did that from the before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of support.
No, that's been raised a lot in the last few years.
So in this version of the budget under mowing, 282, I think I had 8,000, no wait, I had 10,000. Jen, were you proposing to make that 8,000?
Yeah, because I think potentially what had been happening in the past, and I looked at a Scenic Valley bill today to just double check myself, was that I think historically we had basically just been saying that they came to town and they mowed and it was all considered parks. And Sharon has so kindly broken it out to Howden Hall because they do a mowing at Howden Hall. And so she's been charging that to Howden Hall. So if you notice the Howden Hall maintenance line, which I think you had reached out to me about, and then I saw Scenic Valley in there and thought, I don't know if they ever were considered as separated out for mowing. So basically, this reduction here falls as an increase in the Howden Hall maintenance line.
Okay.
Well,
So aren't they supposed to be going out to bid this year? Do we go out to bid this year?
No, I
For
think we're in the
them, or-
middle year.
we're in the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle of the year, I think.
So you wanna put this down to
We
8?
put one out to bid last year.
That's
There
what
it
I
is.
had.
yeah. So, that came up, like mowing for the fire department was way underfunded.
Right.
So that's getting coded somewhere else.
What do you mean underfunded?
Because he's been mowing it about every 10, 12 days.
It's only, well, when we get there, we'll see it, but, it was only like $900, which,
That's what he's getting, I mean,
Is it-
whatever the number I think I had included is
Yeah.
what he's getting billed.
oh, really?
So I don't know. I mean, we did it based on the billing is basically what we did for the fire station.
Yeah.
Because of how big and I didn't know how much he was, I didn't know
I thought
what
it
he had
was-
charged
I
you
thought Brett
guys,
said it was
but-
$75.
Like it's $75 a mow and then at
And
one point, so I think last year, he wasn't mowing as often as he did this
Oh.
past summer, so that's why it was underfunded.
Right, and I think we told
So
them,
then we
don't
said
mow,
we
but
needed to
be
up the
10 days.
mowing. Because he was basically, I think monthly, he was getting charged $150 instead of $75, because I think he was thinking he was getting it every 4 weeks
Well,
instead of
he-
every 2 or something.
Brett
I don't
didn't know.
remember. But I
Because
think
he
we
never
upped
sees,
it.
he said never sees that bill, it just comes here. so.
Yeah,
But when we get
I'll
there,
look at
we'll
it
worry about it.
yes.
I mean, he's almost halfway to what we budgeted last year. And
That's some other annual services in there too, right?
The mowing,
That's
I'm just
the-
going
or
283.
the maintenance
Spring
line, right?
maintenance, yeah.
And looking for the town parks, 283.
Sorry. Yeah, 283.
So, I think
So
it's pretty.
we're putting that down to 8.
That's what I had
Yeah.
proposed.
Well, mine says.
We're
okay,
putting this
mine
down
says
to 8
10,
because Sharon is now taking out Howden Hall mowing and putting it in the Howden Hall mowing.
Because when he does come and mow, he mows that, and here.
Right.
It's 2
That's all. Okay.
Well, probably not quite.
Wait, so
Oh, yeah.
so 2018-19 actual was 4965,
Unless it was something.
and then we're already at 42
Well, we only heard for-
actual.
What line are you on?
Sorry,
Is it the mowing?
283.
283.
Back to the just before we do that,
Oh.
8
Yeah.
down 8 to the moment. So 5,000 for 2018-19 actual, but we're almost at that now. And we've still got to hold another 6 months. Like, are we going to
Oh,
go
yeah.
over that 10 then? Or are
You've
we
got
gonna be
April,
okay?
part of April, May.
Right.
You've got a spring cleanup in there, that's gonna be,
So we're hoping that comes in at 8.
yeah, I
Or
think you're.
pretty much.
I think it'll be
Okay.
close.
Yeah.
Okay, next page.
Okay, page 6.
Only 12 more to go.
Thank you.
Thanks for reminding me about information I could have lived
We had to
without.
save some for speakers.
So Val, I have a question on the
Have some
liability
saved
insurance
pages
line.
for you.
Yeah,
What page you on?
I mean, we're already over
Six.
budget.
I know.
What number are you on?
321.
320.
So I guess my question is the 4340 enough?
That's what's in the VLCT thing.
So how can we be
Well, it all
over by
depends
so
when the billing
much?
cycle comes. Maybe we paid for the whole year.
You have paid for the whole year.
Yeah.
The 4990?
Well,
Yeah.
you should
Well,
have paid for the whole year.
Well, then
So-
4340, we're gonna pay for the whole year.
You're gonna pay 5 something.
So there's a spreadsheet.
Well, no, you
in your
have paid for the
package.
whole year and it reduced, right? Everybody's reduced.
Right. And this is another one where they operate on a calendar year, so we split it up 6 months, and then add 15% to the second 6
Yeah.
months. And then add them
No.
together.
Yeah, because I think I checked the same thing,
And there's
thinking we were
a
under.
spreadsheet in your package.
okay.
Yeah, it
that
says
shows that
5929 now. Isn't
Yeah,
that-
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, we've got park maintenance and we're really 290, 91, and 92. We got Memorial Park in there. Is this, we're going to have, we're gonna do anything? I mean, we've removed the fence, we removed the steps,
Steps.
correct? Are we gonna budget anything out of this for maintenance on those or to build new? Or that's gonna come out of the capital, something else? More of a question than a.
Or am I making that up? Were they writing a grant? or
They
not?
had, they
They
did
are.
last year and they were gonna try again
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah.
probably gonna have some match there. That, if we've got any undesignated fund balance, that would be somewhere where we might be able to use a few thousand of that, just so they know that we're not, they're putting a lot of effort into,
Yeah.
to making it work.
Yeah, so yeah, we do need to support them because
Yeah.
they're working really hard on it.
Yeah.
But that would be a place, I don't know if we've got any inklings of what that is yet.
Not quite, almost there. She's sent
We
it
have
off to have it approved, so I should have a draft hopefully by the end of this week.
Maybe
And then
some,
we'll know what.
maybe we'll see some numbers. We gotta put this all to bed by the 27th, right?
Correct.
Monday night, the 27th. Can we think we're gonna have a number
Well, you
by next
also,
week?
correct me if I'm wrong, they can opt to use the money without voter approval. Granted,
Yes,
you
they
have
can.
not
We never have.
done that, but I mean, if it came down to it, I guess you guys could make that decision in the spring.
But then we'd have to leave the money there.
What's there?
What do you mean, leave the money?
We'd have to leave the money, we would tell them what it was, but we wouldn't spend it anywhere.
Unless you spent it and then overspent the line and used the undesignated fund money.
Yeah, but there won't be any undesignated fund. There'll be last year's undesignated fund money that will know what it is, town meeting.
Yeah.
That's what we usually earmark. We would have to not earmark the money in order to have it stay in the fund, to have a rainy day fund plus money enough to do a project. And I'd rather not do it that way. I'd rather be upfront about it.
I just think about it differently, so I guess I'll have to talk to you another time.
Okay, already.
Yeah, you totally confused now?
Not confused, but I just think about it differently, so.
Now, I heard you guys say that we're gonna get a rate increase on the garbage. Is that reflected you?
I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, but they didn't
Yeah.
say, when she called today, she did not say a user rate fee to us. She said to people who are bringing their trash to on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I don't know if they're changing
Instead of
it.
$4
I'm
or
just gonna put a
$5,
question
it's
there.
now gonna be $5 and
You'll
$6.
fill that in. I'm just gonna put a question there.
Sure.
Okay. And that will reflect everybody too there if there's an increase here.
Right.
Holly Hall. Equipment, purchase of new tables, question mark, I guess.
Well, just looking at what has actually been spent and where we are this year, 81% in at over $5,000. I mean, we spent over 8,400, 8,600 in the last two actuals. And as of December 31st, we're over 5,000. So I don't see that 6,250 is going to be enough.
311.
Building, yeah. Yeah, we've spent over 8,000 each time.
It's the snow
Is that-
removal, that's the question, I'm sure.
Oh,
Because
What's
you
that?
can't, you're guessing at what your snow removal cost is
Right.
gonna be.
That or what?
What your
Snow
snow
removal.
removal cost is gonna be?
Well,
I mean, rightly so, I'm not, I'm not saying that there's a known quantity by any means, because you can't
Well, we
guess
had,
the weather,
we
but.
had some roof repair done as well, right? That we're gonna have to have more.
Yeah.
yes, we
Yeah.
are going to have more.
That's,
one of the-
that's just a temporary
Yeah.
ceiling, right?
And then
Yeah, or the fit.
the
Not
damage that
taking
it
that out
caused
of your
has to be
capital funds?
repaired.
But
I
in
mean-
Valerie's notes, why this was dropping that was because the bond is paid off.
What? Where?
right?
The overall drop.
The overall drop of the Holly
Yeah,
Hall.
no, I'm just looking at
Yeah.
building maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
311.
Peter.
Starting at 311.
Yep.
And is that for, just Holly Hall?
Holly
Just
Hall,
Holly
just Holly
Hall.
Hall.
Right, because each one of those things is just a repeat, so I don't know how.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, it's not, they're not one-off items, though.
And really, is the heat and electrical more of a calculated guess? They contribute to, because you get one bill for this building for heat and one bill for the fuel, correct?
if you average it over 3 years, that's typically what we do on a budget.
No, what he's saying is this broke up between different
Oh.
departments.
No,
Oh,
It's not,
no, we have one bill for Holly Hall, which is us and upstairs.
but you don't charge some to the rec club and some to the rec department.
No, I mean, we really, I don't know how you do
So if,
that.
if we look into,
The only
If we
way you
looked
can do
into
that is
the-
figure out
Are you
percent.
warmer than me?
Computer, I'm plugged in.
You have 5% of the building, so you're
So
at 5% of the
it's all
bill.
from here, I guess.
Okay,
It's-
well, I mean,
No,
yeah,
I understand
we just
what you mean.
we need to know.
No, I understand. what you
Because there are other things that we split that we
mean. Right.
don't realize
No,
we split.
absolutely, absolutely.
and the roof repair, things like that, those larger ticket items that are infrequent might come out of the capital building fund.
yeah.
see, I personally don't like to do repairs at a capital building when they're the, because it just, like, that's really for, doing that slate repair.
Renovation.
Yeah, doing a slate repair should come out of maintenance.
I agree.
Slight, but if
Even
it's-
though
it's-
you overspent it, that in line, it was a
I
maintenance
mean, it'd be
item.
different if you were doing the whole roof.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's just a repair, I have to agree with Joel. I think it should come out of maintenance and we should plan on it.
Okay, so what do we want to, if we're changing that? I mean, if it was
But like,
actual.
so you're talking about like the stairs that really, in theory, should, the spring should
Yeah.
get
The
ripped
front
off the
stair.
front of the building and completely replaced. Should be a maintenance item and should not be, that, you don't consider that a renovation
Well,
and
if
an
you're-
upgrade.
That's up.
Yeah,
That's an upgrade.
That's
That's
an
different.
upgrade.
But, coming in and doing
Patching a
Patching a
leak or
leak.
fixing a
fixing
couple of
40
slates.
slate here around the building and then patching it where it leaked inside and cutting the sheetrock
When we
out.
have Mike
I think
Ledoux
that's
come in
maintenance.
and repoint
It's
some
a brick,
bricks.
that's a
and
maintenance item.
Maybe we ought to, do you have any, a rough idea what it costs us to do the slate? I mean, should we put a couple
It's not done.
$1,000 there
Yeah,
for?
It's not done yet.
No, they're supposed to be doing
I
that.
thought it was
this
pretty
spring.
extensive too, right?
I think it's
Repairs
gonna be
that need to
fairly
done.
expensive. If you look up there in the balcony, just the damage to the wall.
Yeah.
That's all got to be torn out.
You wanna add 30, wanna make that a 10 instead of 62.50?
Well,
Well, if your actual was 86,
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
without repairing the roof,
Yeah.
both inside and out.
See,
Right.
we're 5,000 halfway through the year.
Alright, so make it 10, Peter?
No, he's thinking making it more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because you're not
15 or
even
something.
covering your costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? 15?
I would go to 15. I have another question. Don't you have a maintenance agreement with all the, these things and,
Yeah.
Right.
and the filters in the other room?
Yeah.
I don't see that in this.
Oh, it's under miscellaneous.
Oh, okay.
Generator,
Heat,
septic, heat,
electrical.
Oh, all
electrical,
right.
et cetera.
So do we want to add another bullet there?
But that's
Buil-
not where it
buil-
got paid out of.
Building repairs,
It did.
just so we
Coded,
know
nothing else?
Yeah.
that that's what we put it in there for.
Well, so we replaced the lock on the front door,
Yep.
and that was $1,700.
That came
So
out of
that
this.
came out of the building maintenance line.
Yep.
We pay for Orkin, which I think is on your list.
Yeah.
Yep.
The mowing. Is that on there?
Mowing is not on that, it's a separate.
You have a separate line item for
Well,
mowing?
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
there is one.
No, there's no.
So
separate
that's
line
where
item.
mowing is coming out of, so that should be included.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Instead of never et cetera, we should go mowing and et cetera.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm just looking through.
So you're suggesting 15,000?
Peter?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. By the time we get that roof done, slate work's expensive.
Well, the other thing is, you know,
Not
the
easy.
reason we spent $750,000 on this building was because we didn't take care of it.
Yeah.
We have stuff we wanted, we have wiring we want to do and under the bandstand, or the stage, and,
That got done, did not
That got
matter
done.
that, yeah.
so- but I mean, there's things
Right,
like that.
there are
and
some
we-
things that we would like to do to renovate under the stage, so there's some better storage, but, you know, like that to me, I think would be a capital expense, cause that would be an improvement to what's there now, but, I mean, you are the ultimate designers of that, but
No, I
that's, I would
agree with
propose
that.
that as a capital.
You know, like the front steps, you know, if we're gonna tear them all out, it's probably.
I mean, I think that's the best way to do that at this
Could you-
point, I think Ted made a quick fix when we had a huge heave
Yeah.
Right.
right
That
before
was-
town
that
meeting
was
last
right
year,
on the
maybe?
Decking part on the
Right.
front part, yeah.
And I don't know, but that, I mean, because I think boards are starting to rot and nails are starting to create rust
And the
and
paint.
Do
that,
we want to maybe think of a different front step? I know it's always been wood, but.
well, do you have limitations as a historic building?
Huh?
Do you have limitations as a historic building?
Well,
There
I
are.
guess we'd have to figure that out, but if you did something like marble or something like that, we would never have to touch
Right.
again.
Slip.
That's not true.
Huh?
Not in our lifetimes,
Well-
anyway.
But those steps have been done 3 times since
Yeah.
I've been on board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because Doug Corkins did them once, and
Well, but I thought he
There are
just
pictures
painted
over
them.
there, in one of those folders.
Didn't he just paint them?
no, he repaired them.
Did
It
he?
was
Okay, I remember him coming, but I guess I thought it was just paint.
Yeah, I think the whole thing needs to be gutted and
Right.
taken right out.
Plus her little side step there
Mhm. Yeah.
as well, because that right now is not passable. I think she said that was rotting through.
and I
So-
don't.
So 15,000.
Yeah, and I don't
So
think
let's
that's.
start there.
No.
Okay, so 323 through 327. Valerie, I thought you say it was a decrease of 21.2%. So if I added up all those,
No, don't add up all those ones.
well, Holly Hall one is paid for, right? Done?
Add, add.
In the budget figure you gave me today, you had 70,000.
I know, and I need to decrease it again because I got an error.
Well, I wondered if that includes a water loan.
Because water pays for water.
I know, so I couldn't figure out where the 70,000 is.
So it should just be the 18,893.24, which is your USDA loan, plus, and if someone can add this for me, 41,757.758. Sorry.
So what was the water?
The water is in the water.
Oh, so it's not in here, not in this line item.
That's why I didn't want you to add those. numbers.
Well, because you got people.
So that is less. It should drop from 70 is what I'm saying. That 70 is an
So
inaccurate
it's
figure.
41,758 plus
Plus 18,894.
So what's the 18,894?
USDA.
But that's the water.
No, portion of it is stormwater.
Why would that be under Holly Hall?
That's what I was
Why
gonna
is it
ask.
home?
Yeah.
We just said it was coming from the general fund. You could put it somewhere else. We do need to put 18,890
Somewhere.
something in the budget, so I
Yeah.
guess I just was thinking that that's where the USDA money was coming from. But if you wanted to change it and put it in the stormwater one in Eric's budget,
That makes more sense.
doesn't matter. Either way,
You
it
mean
just
the-
needs to get added.
Because the People's Revolving Loan Fund, that was for here, correct? For this building?
Talking about two loans right now, combined. People's is one, and then revolving loan fund's another. We paid both People's, the $30,000 People's note that was left, and the Holly Hall acoustic fund, which was $25,000 off. We paid those off with undesignated fund money last year.
I guess what I,
So on our list, Jen, we have People's Renovation Loan, 100K, 10 years, 1.7%.
Yeah, that's
That's, was that for Holly
41.
Hall?
That's
Yep.
the 41,
That's the
750.
41,758.
Okay.
okay.
So
that's
the
that
water
one
line
there.
US bond bank, 100K, 10 years, is
That
that the
should not
USDA? That should not be in there.
No.
And the Holly Hall US bond bank, 650, that one's paid off.
I guess the People's one is the one that's paid off the 100K, and the Holly Hall US bond bank for the 650 is the 41,758.
Okay,
Sorry.
that one goes here.
Yes, those two ones.
Yeah.
That goes to here. Okay.
Yeah, those are in brackets just to show what comprises those
Yeah.
What they were,
52,
yeah.
988
Yeah.
figures.
Mhm.
So, and then the 18,894, you're saying let's put it under the stormwater, under the
Public
highway?
Works. That makes a lot of sense to
Yeah.
me.
Where's that one?
Public Works.
We're gonna have to remember that change,
Remember
because
when we
that's
get
really gonna mess his, that's gonna
Yeah.
mess his numbers up.
Yeah,
It's gonna make it look like he took a big jump.
yes.
So we're, you guys said 18,000?
18,894.
18,894 is going to Eric's budget out of where?
Holly Hall one.
Out of the
Holly Hall.
Out of the Holly Hall.
out of the 41,750?
No.
No.
It
41,758
wasn't
is staying in
Yeah.
that Holly Hall line. And then 18,
Which was not there in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, it's not there, so that's why.
Right. That was a change that Jen had.
because you have your USDA bond to pay for.
Stormwater.
What did I say, 18?
18,
Sorry.
18,894. I was just looking where we're gonna put it under highway.
So is there a new account number for that then?
I just assumed that it would go under that stormwater bond.
The storm drainage line, that one?
Gotcha.
Under indebtedness,
Yeah.
which is under total highway operating expense. I don't have page numbers, I'm
So
sorry.
it's like
Indebtedness, yeah.
719?
725.
725.
Okay, so then that would be the stormwater.
So that changes that figure to 53,814.
What's 53,814?
Just that
Oh,
stormwater
stormwater.
line. Jump that.
How much did you say that was?
53,814.
From 34,
From 34,920.
53,814.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you said you're moving the USDA from the general fund Holly Hall to
To the stormwater under Public Works.
okay.
Let's go back to that page. Okay, water fees and sewer fees are staying about the same.
Well, I had to up
Yeah,
those
okay.
because you guys have increased the water and sewer rates, but have not increased your budgets. So, I don't know what your copy says, but I have it in for sewer at 715 and water at 325.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Okay.
Is that because that?
Speaking of the water and sewer, Jen and I chatted a little bit about the water and sewer budget for the town report. And that because the budgets for the water and sewer don't get acted on until May or June, that for the town report purposes, that we would just show what was approved last year and the actuals through December, and not try to do a projection, because it's.
It's just become very different from what you guys actually approve in June. So if somebody grabs a town report and thinks this is the approved water sewer budget and it's not,
Right.
it's a little confusing.
It's very confusing.
Well, it's the approved budget last June.
It's
Right.
not. Because Valerie makes, we kind of make a best guess at what we think that the water is going to do or what we need to do with the water. And then we end up revamping the entire budget come
Well, why
May or
don't we
June.
just put in the town report, money spent up till December 31st?
That's what we're saying, is not do
Just-
any kind of projection or potential budget, just put the actual spending. And then whatever, then that way if somebody were to ask, we could give them an actual copy of what was improved
Okay.
by you guys in May or June.
The total Holly Hall for 18-19 is 133,174.
Right, because you guys paid off.
Because we
the
paid up,
schools.
so that was money that came from the undesignated fund balance.
Right, and that's how
So
it
that's why
gets spent.
we're not over, we just
No.
took money from elsewhere and paid it off.
And that's how that works.
Okay. But there's nowhere where it tells us that.
Okay. Sorry.
So that's something we need, to know, because if
Yeah.
somebody goes through the town
Right.
report and asks, how
No.
come you were over?
Makes total sense. But that's where you paid your acoustics.
Because
and-
there will be somebody ask that question, how come you were
You mean the
over?
basis of the 99,000?
Yeah,
Well, even if they just look at the bottom number, that's what I did,
Ah,
and you know, you're 60,000 over.
okay, line 345, maintenance and custodial for Howden Hall.
Mhm.
We've got it at 1,600, but it's been over. Well, last year it was over.
Didn't she tell us she's taking over some of the cleaning?
No,
Meredith?
That
No.
was for
not there.
Oh, not Helen, no, excuse me.
Not how.
Right, and we're
Custodial, $75 a month.
We're over
is
already.
custodial.
Yeah, and that's consistent. The lift broke. I had to pay for that.
So you think the 1,600 should be?
I said,
okay.
this is where I said we missed the mowing, and on my copy that I'm looking at, said that my suggestion was to up it to 2,500.
See, there, we're okay.
from 1,600.
Oh, if we didn't
From
have the mowing, though.
1,550. 'cause
Right,
we didn't have mowing included.
so
I guess
now the
1,550.
mowing will be in here,
Yeah.
we'll have to add the 2,000 that we took out from,
Well, not 2,000.
Well, I mean, I decreased the line by 2,000 because I don't think we're spending
Right.
as much in mowing costs, but I think that I know we are charging mowing for Howden Hall to this maintenance and custodial line.
You
So
need
my
to change this
suggestion
to
was to up that to
2,500.
2,500. Yeah.
For the heating, fuels, and electricity, since actuals for 2018-19 were
Shoveling and mowing.
242, or sorry, 542. Wait, how is that the same for? How's that the same number?
It's just ironic.
It is. Can we do 750 or
I
600?
suggested reducing to 1,000 for each of them on
But if-
my copy.
Which,
Right, which I see.
Electrical and heating.
337 and
Electrical and heating.
339.
But actuals for 18-19 were 542. Can we do?
You can do whatever you
No, but I'm just
I am just reserved, so that's why I
Yeah.
don't do it
Yeah.
by as much. And then next year, if we see the continuing trend, you can always do
Yeah,
more.
that's true.
I guess is the way that I've
Yeah,
always
you knocked
looked at
600 and
myself budgeting,
695 last time, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Valerie, I did notice that the liability insurance was missing for that.
yeah, it's 4,052.
Thank you.
But on the copy that the select board has, telephone, I didn't have a figure for telephone.
And I got that sorted out today.
Yeah, so
Do they have a telephone over there?
675.
Oh, okay.
So there must be a telephone.
675?
Yes.
So how could it be zero?
Because it got included, it's included on another bill, and Sharon didn't realize that it wasn't the number to, because it was included on the highway bill, so I took it out of the highway.
Oh my gosh.
Because she didn't realize that it wasn't a highway number.
So
So,
Okay, well that's gonna be interesting.
so
675.
675.
Yeah, because prior years it's 576
Yes.
and then 560
Only
and then,
$500 a month, or $50
Actual
a month.
Right.
sorry.
yes.
Is that a normal-
Which is
Yeah.
like the
That's cheap.
normal,
Oh, it is?
because there's
I
no
think it
internet.
is.
We don't pay for internet over there, I don't think.
No, we Core bought the router, and then it shares the free downtown.
Valerie, what did you say that liability number was again?
4052.
Okay. We all set on page 6, everybody?
So the bottom line is 9,742, which is still a decrease of just about 1%.
9,000 what?
9,742,
And so what's the percentage?
minus 0.9%.
That's here.
Boy,
Yep.
we really killed that.
9%, 09.
Minus 0.9%. And it's interesting, even with on Howden Hall, or Holly Hall rather, even with the increase to the maintenance line to 15,000, it's still a decrease of almost 9 or 8%.
Because you paid off all those bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
so
it's because
just on the page 7 then?
took one of those,
Yeah, moved it over there. Eric's not gonna be happy. Coach house, this is 0. Water fees,
Oh yeah.
315.
That's actual.
I'm wondering if you could swipe off a couple, $50 out of there.
Are you gonna increase the water fees in May?
Leave it alone.
yeah.
Well, you spent 78 and 128 last
The
year.
78 is only
If you're
one
gonna double,
quarter.
I'm gonna double the water fees, I'm still gonna,
78's only half.
78 is only one quarter. It's not even
128
half.
last year.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna double the water rates, are we?
I don't know.
they might spring a leak.
Have you seen the water budget?
371. Is that what Bruce just asked to increase to 12?
Yeah, we gotta change
Okay.
that to 12.
Yeah.
Excellent catch.
For
And this, in 372? 2? Is that better
Is
with
that
change?
increasing? Sorry, your non-district responses
Yeah, well, he
Yes.
put it up that per charges, what was that?
to 55, right?
To 6,600, 54.
Okay, 66, Bruce, thank you.
The town contract would go from 10 to 12.
12.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
367 for the streetlights. Is that maintenance?
Electric.
That's the electricity.
Electricity. Okay, so given that,
That's not just Main Street, that's all the streetlights in Village.
okay,
Police from
Former
Green
village.
Mountain Power.
Right.
From Greenmount.
and we have. Oh, I see. Okay.
LED lights.
So, right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, this year LED lights cost less, but downtown lights added
Yeah. How does that? I mean, I guess this doesn't get affected by this year's project, right? And the replacement.
in. No, that's
No.
different money.
It's for your. But I mean, it's
And they
because
should-
we're getting new. It's not going to affect this. It's just going to be the same because we're all LED anyway. So.
Right.
We're not LED down Main Street, but we should be more
Mostly.
efficient when we get down Main Street.
Right.
Yeah, there's all of
Because
it
the
with
wire,
that.
Yeah.
the wire.
Oh, right. That's true. Yeah.
It's $19 a month per light, per street light in Bristol. The street light's $19 a month.
Even though one's
I don't
down.
know what those are, but I think those are on a meter. I mean, they can't put
But
us.
they're included in this.
Right, they are included in that.
And the repairs to those are included in this as well.
Right.
So we shouldn't have any repair
Right.
this year,
That's what I was.
but that I don't.
Come on, what did
don't.
we have to pay, what did we have to fix on this
Yeah.
intersection light after they put it up?
Yeah, that's
We
true.
have to do some stuff there.
So Jen, when Eastview Electric spends so much time down on Main Street replacing all those lights and repairs and stuff, where does that get coded to?
I was gonna say, not there, I don't think.
It says here,
That's
Right.
a Therese note, so, I think.
it says
That's
repair,
2016.
repairs.
Yeah.
That's
LED.
2016.
Oh, so you don't do it the same anymore. We don't
Well,
do
I
it the
just,
way we used to do it.
I don't, if I had to guess, I don't know, I'll have to look, I can look right now.
I mean, it says bulb replacement,
Yeah.
LED bulb replacement. That must be when they switched them from what they were to LED.
Although I haven't seen a bill bill from Eastview recently, so.
How many streetlights do we have? Does anyone know?
All of them.
About Main Street.
Are we talking,
No.
which
Well,
like
if this
street
is- if
lights
this
are
is-
you talking about? Like the
Well,
big lights?
the ones that
or
the one
go-
that this money pays for.
All
That
of
plays for
every-
all of them.
every-
No, I know, but how
like-
many? Is it 100 lights?
No.
Or is it?
No.
I bet there's close to 1,000, 500 probably, 600 in this village.
Really?
Streetlights?
Street?
Streetlights.
500.
Oh, man, I guess.
I
it
bet
is
there's
coded to
25 on
that
North
line.
Street from here to,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You were
So
right, it is coded to that line.
I wouldn't be, but I'd be 450, 500 be a good guess.
No, I don't know.
There's a
Streetlights?
lot of them.
You
Yeah.
think there's that many streetlights? How?
I'll have to count 'em.
Like I said, there's about 19.
You do
While
know
you're out walking.
I don't know, you gotta go, Peter.
Do an inventory.
Do an inventory.
I'll walk a different route every day.
I think you should chalk them so you know which one is you
Which one you hit? Put a little sticky on them.
Alright,
No, they are coded to there.
okay.
I didn't think they were, but
Bob Donis could tell you right off the top of his head how
And he
many,
could.
Probably, yeah.
because he was instrumental in getting them changed.
Right.
So in Sharon's admin.
I'm
admin
looking at
line-
that because I am looking at your per. Oh, there she is. And I was like, I am not finding her on here.
So there's a reduction. Is that because of the way we're now, you're
Yeah.
thinking of doing
Yeah,
the clerk and the assistant clerk?
I'm just making sure
That can't,
Yeah,
that
that-
number can't be right though, that proposed
I'm
number.
looking at it right now.
Just-
Why?
11?
11,900. Pay 2 people, 30 hours a week.
Oh yeah, it's not. So she has her net.
That's a bargain and a half.
16.
There we go.
No,
Well, it's tied to
Well,
that personnel
I know,
spreadsheet.
but we had different thought process on the number of hours. So I changed it in the clerk, but I didn't change it in the admin
Admin.
assistant. Thank you. Line. So it was she's only in at 10 hours in there, and she should be in at 20.
Gail.
Jail or Sharon?
Gail's right.
Gail's right. So then
Gail's only
that
going to work 10 hours?
which is all she works now.
I know. But I thought Sharon was going to split 20 and 20.
Just as a general easy
Oh, okay,
split,
but she's,
not
all right,
necessarily.
so she's just,
She's working 40.
Do you see what I?
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
'Cause
So
I was
where
like,
should that
11
number
is
be?
not Right.
So
It should
I
be
just changed to
25.
20.
16,870. Is that what you see when you flip back to your other tab? Is
Yep,
what I see.
16,870, beautiful.
Okay. See,
I
you
love
got
that.
all loop de loops.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
know.
making sure you touch the right box.
And then, of course, that changes all the
All the other
Okay.
stuff.
Right.
So okay, so
Insurances.
16,870 is the salary.
Yeah.
1310 is the FICA.
16,870 is the salary for 2 people.
that's for 30
Half
hours.
Sharon.
That's
So for
30
30
hours
hours a week.
But 67% of the
That
20.
still doesn't seem, you know.
It doesn't seem right to
Well,
me.
because so then Sharon's not paid 100% from. It's not a
The town
50-50 split because then she also gets paid from the water department and the sewer department.
Oh, okay.
So she's only at
like
technically
a-
46% from this line, 46% from the clerk line.
Yeah, and if you
But
look
still,
at
what does she make? Rough numbers of 50, she's gotta make more than 20.
Well, she does because now she's
Yeah.
in, you
It's
missed
in-
this part.
Like
She's in as
three
the
different
clerk.
places.
I understand that, but
16,000 divided by 30 is 533.
16,000.
it's 5,
33.
533 a week.
Yeah.
No.
So it's 30 hours.
16,000, easy math, divided by 30.
So Gail is.
That's the hours though.
Right.
I need to know the weeks. Divided by 52.
And 10 and a quarter.
Yeah.
I took
Wanna look at
16,000
it?
divided by 30 hours.
You gotta put your glasses on.
I know.
Oh, you don't? Okay, so this is where it is. So Gail, Sharon's at 20, Gail's at 10.
28.
These are the
67% of
rate,
that.
and then all of that, and then Sharon's only a portion, so she's only 46% of that 21.
It just seems low.
It does seem
It's just the way it's divided up between.
It's just the way that it's
This split, and it needs to be brought up to 20, that's what the problem was.
Okay, so this
So what's that bottom line then, or that bottom number?
should be
bottom number
Said
is
six.
21,950
Okay.
28.
And what's the percentage difference?
minus 35.6.
Times 0.67. Number I come up with.
For what? Sorry.
You can take that.
What math did you just do?
Creative man. Joel's creative man.
No. I'm not gonna say it until I get an executive session, but I don't think 16 is even close.
Is that 30 hours a week?
It's two people, somebody,
Well, different rates.
Somebody at 20 hours and somebody at 10 hours.
it's 20 hours,
Two
you take
different,
it times
two
their
different
rate,
rate pays.
times 52, and then 0.67, because it's only 67% on that one.
No, she's saying it's
No,
40,
46.
some,
Yeah,
46%. This number's wrong.
She gets
That's six-
paid.
Why does it say,
I don't know.
Because it
That's
does.
old. That's old.
Yeah.
That's old number.
okay,
So in the personnel spreadsheet that's in your packet, it looks like this. Sharon's numbers, under admin assistant, it was 10 hours, we just corrected it to 20. But under clerk treasurer, she was in at 30.
Right. So,
So-
we made it a 20/20
So
split.
now, yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so that's gonna change a few other things, but that's fine. But so those budget figures, those personnel figures are all tied to that spreadsheet. You change one number and, you know,
Yeah. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later.
Provided the program is right.
it's been.
So I do have a question, Valerie. On the, I know we were already gone over the fire department, but the labor line got increased by 14%. Was that just the hourly fee for the firefighters that went up, or did the stipends, did he increase the stipends for all the
Stipends,
office?
too.
He did.
Do you know how much they went up? Because he only gave us,
They were all on the sheet we had the other night.
oh, all I had was these. I didn't know what the previous ones were.
Oh, I don't know what the previous ones
Yeah.
were. Those definitely aren't unreasonable.
No, I was gonna
No,
say
I was
those
just,
are-
I was just curious because.
But
they went up.
Which page you on?
This is
And
called.
I know this,
and
we're still on page 7,
Page
right?
7,
Yeah.
right at the bottom.
well, there's
and
your
then page
hours.
8.
well, right,
Okay.
I mean, so this has gone up, because I think it was 10 something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was.
well,
No, he kept it flat at 11 because it still is under the minimum
Minimum
wage
wage.
threshold. Because last year they jumped to
minimum wage is what,
1078.
10.96.
10 something.
Now it's 1096, but you guys just got paid 11, so
Right.
he had upped you for this budget year for 11.
24.
We all set with,
24,000,
you changed all those numbers down through there then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Health insurance, retirement, workman's comp, I don't need to write all those in.
Right.
No.
no.
Okay, we set for page 7 then?
Yep.
Page 8?
Well, this is all fire department.
Yeah, you
Well,
keep
this
saying
is
that to me, you keep whispering.
But this is all fire department that we just went over, so.
That's right.
Is there really 15 pages?
18.
18.
Why does mine say page 8 of 36? What else have I gotten here?
Oh, lots of good
Here's
stuff.
not double, well,
I mean, I don't know that I need to ask anything about fire department, just because we've just gone through that last.
The only, what Brett talked about was the vehicle maintenance line. Where that is, and, okay, it's on page 10, line 538. And I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure you could answer this better than me, but with the amount of money that we put into those two big trucks in the last 2 years, I guess it's the same conversation we had with Eric. What else can go wrong? And,
Yeah, there were a couple items that, that were major.
yeah, and Brett felt that 30,000, and that's in there because of what's been spent the last 2 years. But now that he has those on a yearly maintenance schedule and things are getting taken care of, can we cut that? And I wouldn't do it without him saying something, but he did say something.
right, but I know there's Isn't there a big bill coming?
There's 14, but
Yeah, but
was it?
that's not in this budget.
That's last.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
He put it in there in anticipation, I believe.
No, because what, the number here is what Jen has paid out.
Right, but he might have, Valerie and I noticed he altered some of his actually spent numbers so that when you guys looked at the budget,
Yeah, the one he.
you saw some actual figures that may or may not be included. One was labor and the other might have been that 13,000.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
So
put that
he
in
might
his
have
number.
put that in the apparatus line to up that to
Yeah.
what
I
would
think
make
he
it
said
like
he's
30.
holding 13,000 because there's still a couple of
Yeah.
things that need
Right.
to be taken care of.
Right,
So
and
that
that's
would
why
put him
he
at
put it, he put that money
23.
in, he
Right,
put it
so
in the
that's-
budget we saw, but he
Yeah.
said that hasn't been paid yet
Yeah.
because I'm not paying it until they fix the issues.
And they're really, yeah.
So that's gonna put him almost.
So do you have a
fully
suggestion
spent.
of what you,
I
Well, you
would
might
drop
wanna-
it by 10,000, but
Yeah. Yikes.
I might go 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to what we, because right now we're actual. I heard somebody just say he's
20.
holding 13,
Yeah, we're at 24.
and we're at 95.
Yeah.
So let's call that 10. There's 23 right
But
there.
that was the point
And we still get
that he was trying to make,
right,
and what I'm trying to make is these things have been taken care of over the last 2 years, and we've spent an awful lot of money on those. And so the major repairs, I think, obviously an engine could blow or transmission or something, but
You don't put catastrophic repairs in your maintenance
Yeah,
line. I mean,
yeah.
they're-
yeah.
you can't. If you put them in there, we'd be over all the time.
I mean,
We'd be,
both
Over
engines
budget.
have all new brake systems, all been
new
done.
tires.
Tires are all new.
I could support 25 here. I'm not sure I can support.
All right.
Folks agreed on 25?
I think
Michelle?
25, I think 25 is safe.
Ian?
Yep.
And is that your apparatus or your maintenance?
Yeah, it's apparatus
apparatus.
vehicle maintenance, yeah.
Apparatus /
Now, on OSHA, back up on line 431, I have in our budget 4,500, or 4,000, but in Jen's, you had 45.
Which
What
line?
line?
430.
431 you said?
431.
And OSHA's 433.
Yeah.
Yeah, 433.
Yeah.
Right,
A
well,
couple, but
whichever.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Sorry, I'm pulling it up.
I have 4,000 in the budget that you guys have, but in Jen, you had
He might
4,500.
have,
Is there,
that must have been a change he made that I.
He changed it. Remember, he said he took some money out of, what was it?
hose? No. So is it 4,000?
Oh, no, it was the medical evaluations,
Yeah.
because most people are doing it on their private insurance instead of
Okay.
having the
So
town
it's
pay for it.
4,000.
We're gonna leave it at 4
4,000,
then?
so I just.
Okay.
Got it. And where did we land on mowing? The budget,
We never did.
We
We
didn't.
were checking with Jen.
It's included.
okay, in the budget
459.
for, tonight, it's at 1,700.
This was the discussion we were having with you.
Right.
Mowing. 1,000.
Where's mine? What number?
I think you're gonna be over.
459.
I think you're gonna be over by 400 or 500.
What is the actual right now? Mine says 0. so
975.
975. You want to round it to 15 then?
Proposed
No,
is
it's
17.
Yeah.
They're both 17. I think you're gonna be
Oh, it's at
300,
pros?
300 short myself personally.
At 17?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you take the weekly or this bid price and you do it by 20 mowings, that's about average.
So Jen, you've got a note here,
It's
6
1,500.
mowings,
Yeah.
1 cleanup for
Is what
spring.
we thought it was for this for this year.
Yeah.
That's only
That's what Brett and I had discussed with
That's
me,
only once a month.
which is what.
Well,
I'm
6
assuming.
mowings for January through, you won't start mowing until.
I know,
But that's like,
but this is for, this starts July 1st, this budget. So you're
Correct.
going to have
So you're gonna
6
have.
mowings for 1
six-
year?
July, August, September, October.
Right.
Right, that's the 975 that's been paid.
Yeah.
No, but he's talking
No,
about
he's
this
talking about-
budget number
yeah.
here
So-
for next year starting
Right.
July 1, 2020.
Right, so this should be from July
Right,
19th
Yeah.
to
Yeah, I think that number
Correct.
should be 2
It
grand.
and then you've got 2.5 months,
Of mowing
Yeah.
come this spring.
2 weeks in April and then 2 to 3 weeks in May, you've got to mow
20
at least
times.
every week.
You're gonna mow over there around 20 times.
So 75 times 20 is 1,500.
And then you're gonna have spring cleanup,
Cleanup.
mulching around the trees, you're gonna spend another 400 or 500 there. I think you ought to put that 2
Well,
grand.
maybe
I would leave it at
1,700.
1,700.
Yeah,
Okay.
And see what happens.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's page 8. We all set with page 8?
Yep.
Page 9? I think we're all set with.
And page 10. Well, we're on
No.
page 10.
Yeah.
Need to nail down what the fire bond, fire station bond number is, that might have to be updated.
That 138,940.
Oh, that's right.
That's right?
Or no, sorry, I have mine right, as in 137.7. Sorry.
137.7?
Yeah.
That's what they're paying this year?
That's what they will pay next year.
Because we have 138,940.
Yeah, no, I just got a new amortization schedule. I'm gonna stop here.
Okay, we set with page 9 then? Page 10? We already did something on the apparatus. Let's just look through Lawrence Memorial.
That's all
we don't have
insurance.
any say on that.
No,
Right.
it's just cemetery care.
Alright.
It's okay.
It's all wrong, so.
Didn't Ken Weston come in and ask that that number be increased? Is he gonna write something?
Last year, he did that town meeting, right?
And what was
Something,
his
but I
issue?
can't remember what it was. He asked about the cemeteries.
Yeah.
Just more maintenance, upkeep, cleaning, straightening
What else
stones.
you're gonna do? Oh, I guess straightening stones.
Straightening the stones, that's a big,
Repairing.
much bigger project.
That
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, that's pricey.
yeah.
I think that could be the cleaning of the stones could be an Eagle project, could be a Boy Scout project.
So once you put a stone in, who's responsible? Is the cemetery responsible for it or the family?
Cemetery.
No, not the family. When you put it in a cemetery,
you
there's
go to a lot
a
of
continuity
cemeteries.
care, supposedly
Yeah.
And a lot of those people
Continuity
think
care.
I wash my
contract, somebody
soaps.
been back in the
Yeah.
1800s.
I go to my
Right.
pressure washer
Yeah,
and
but-
do my.
It's put on the
Stones are-
town. whoever owns
No,
it.
they wouldn't, I mean, if your family moved it out of the area,
But if the cemetery's supposed to take care of it, they should take care of it. Whether
I
it's-
think the deal with the cemetery is just mowing and
Yeah,
trimming. I don't think it,
well, that was my question. Who's responsible for?
I think you're responsible for your own, because I know Carl Nelson used to clean them, but the individual paid for it.
Oh,
Right.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
He'd
know.
send out a request.
I
I know we've paid to have them cleaned.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, page 11. Regional planning.
Like, can we go back to 10 for a sec?
Sure.
5, 7.
No, we already went by that.
You need to keep up.
We're talking about cemeteries. 574. So that's
Yeah.
the
We have to pay that for
No,
the
I
next
know.
10 years, right?
right. So I was
What
curious
is
how
that?
many
Which
years.
line? Which line is it?
It's
574,
574, which is the
Post-closure
solid waste
monitoring.
Post
post-closure.
closure or landfill closure? Because I feel like we're
Post-closure
double.
monitoring,
Okay.
Right.
So that 4,000.
forever and a
That's-
day.
That's fine, but the 1,000 that had been budgeted in the past, I
Yeah.
don't know what you're using that for, and I would say you could take it out. Because
Well, there's
anything that's
nothing
coming
there.
through for the landfill at this point in time is going to that post-closure monitoring line.
Yeah. and-
Where-
There's nothing in that
Yeah,
line.
there's
No.
no.
I saw them post-closure, 3
577.
577.
Right down
Oh, okay,
below.
down there.
Somebody
But I didn't
apparently
know,
coded
is
it
it a
because
re-
it's actual, those are
Actual is
actuals.
not.
Where?
No,
No,
actuals is
that's-
zero.
Actuals are zero.
This one's actual.
And they didn't,
The 2017 one.
and we didn't budget any for this year.
Right. And there's been
That
nothing
was
in
probably
2018.
replaced
I
with another
So
something.
there is no,
It's gone.
You did budget. I have 1,000 on my spreadsheet.
We do
Yeah.
for 2019.
But it didn't come over to the proposal.
It's the current budget. Mhm.
didn't come over proposed budget, Jen.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I didn't know if
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
had
we
showed that.
budgeted for this year,
Okay.
but not
I
next
just want to make sure it was out. If
How
that was
how much longer do we have to do
Forever and a day.
forever? I thought it was a certain.
I thought it was 10 years.
Yeah, I thought it was 10 years as well.
2026.
Oh, is the
comes to
garbage gonna
mind.
be gone in 10 years?
What's that, Valerie?
2026 comes to mind for some reason.
And then we can get it reduced
Mm.
to like biannual. I think we're quarterly
Yeah, I
now.
think so.
And then we can get it, if there's nothing, we can get it reduced
Can
and,
we make a note and check that in our February?
But if we can do the solar on there,
yes.
and we lease the land and get paid for that, that would sort of cover that amount, which might be nice.
Yeah, but they can't do solar for 10 years either.
No, they can do it if it's not penetrating, if it's just sitting.
It's sitting on those
Yeah.
walls.
we
All
just-
surface mounts.
Yeah.
Surface mounts.
The energy committee's gonna talk to Green Lantern about that again.
Okay.
So
that
we
could
might
be-
need to come back to this because we pay LE Environmental to do monitoring of, and I'm trying to find those invoices.
I can pull them up right here.
And we also got a quote from them to replace a pump. And that's something like just shy of $2,000.
A pump?
A
A
pump,
pump for what?
one of the monitoring wells.
Oh.
And I'm guessing it would have to come out of that line item.
So
There's
looks
not a pump in the wells though.
Or
I thought they put a pump down in there to
They slide
extract
it down
it.
and.
They slide it down in and
Yeah.
pump out the extract.
Looks like right now we pay them 2 times a year. $1,700.
Twice a year or once?
Twice, 2 times.
And then we had to fix one of the wells.
$3,400.
One
I
of
was
the
gonna say we
wells
had to
got
replace one of
damaged.
the wells, yeah.
Which is probably, yeah, that was, looks like that was back in 2016 and that was about almost
Was that the,
$860.
no, I was gonna say, was that the $750 that we
There's-
put in
there's your
there?
4,000 right there.
Yeah.
So I just found it, it's a, let's see, monitoring well pump replacement, $1,960.
What pump? I mean,
If we're doing it twice a year, is that pump sitting there? Seems like it would be
It
easier.
would seem like if it was an outfit that did this, they'd have their own
Own
pump.
pump.
Yeah.
Right.
So
They probably have a lot of
LE
them.
Environmental just does the
they
monitoring.
do have their own,
Right,
we're
they
just
just do the
paying for
monitoring,
it.
right? They don't actually do the.
The purpose of this task order is to authorize LE Environmental to purchase and install a replacement pump in monitoring well MW-10101, blah, 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 blah.
So when's that happening?
It's a proposal, a work order request that has not been authorized because I wanted us to talk about it as a budget item. This came last
Guess
month.
Can you?
So-
We need to find some more information on,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
Do we
for
check
twice
this
a year,
well?
why do we need to buy a pump? Isn't that a service that we could hire a pump?
It's not like
It's different.
it's only like a 1-inch pipe or a 2-inch pipe that's down in the ground, so it's not,
Right.
I mean, it's not a pump that, I can't believe it's a pump that's down there.
And do they each one of them have a pump if that's the case?
I don't believe so.
I mean, I think they take the cap off and slide this.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Let's see, bladder pump replacement.
We need some more information on
Okay.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we do need it, does it come out of that 4,000,
Right.
or is this
It
an
would have to
addition to
come
the
out of that. It
4,000?
would have to come out of that.
But right now, we're looking
Well,
like
it
we're spending
depends on
about
when you do it.
$3,500. Right now, we're spending about.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we're
$3,500.
gonna have to put money
Twice a
into
year,
that.
17,
Line
something,
item.
15.
Yeah.
so
Right,
we do
if
need
you're
to do
holding
that.
off on doing
Right.
it until the summer, then you could add it now.
Well,
but if
actually, it
you're
would
not-
come out of this year's budget.
Right, if you do it before then.
Oh, okay.
then
So
You're not
maybe we
gonna
can
have a
just-
choice.
We'll just overspend that line.
Right.
Take it out of your select-board tax.
We've already ditched our select board.
Oh, you've already talked about that?
Reducing it, yeah.
Reducing it?
Reducing the budget line item. No, I said somebody needs to stand up and give us a raise. Jen told me I should do it. I said I don't feel good about that. I said I get
I
mad.
like it.
I get mad at our,
Every year
our
it's
state
like-
people.
What is it? What was it before? Yep, that's what it should be again. So, okay.
Okay, we're done then, page 10. Switch over to 11. Okay. Now, did I read in your notes, Valerie? It wasn't regional planning. That was-
Yeah, it was regional
Regional
planning.
planning wanted an increase.
3%.
And is
Which is
that
that?
This here.
show that?
Yeah, that's a
Okay, that's
3%.
3%.
Do you have a VLCT figure? Mine doesn't have a VLCT.
Yes. It is
59.
5,928.
That's the county.
Ian, are you the holiday? Oh no, the holiday committee's, it's Bristol Court,
rec-
right?
Yeah.
Little number there.
Do you have a county tax figure yet? Mine
I
doesn't.
ballparked it, I made it up.
Okay.
It's a 13,600.
Oh,
Just pulled it out of left field.
I see why the holiday committee was moved to rec.
Right.
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce. Tax sale. That Chamber of Commerce, does that go to,
That's for our membership.
oh, to the county? That's right, we pulled that a couple of years ago, but then we put it back. Tax sale abatement expenses, miscellaneous. Okay. Total expenditures, that number's gonna change now, right?
Yep.
Somebody have that?
So total expenditures, let's see. Total expenditures is 907,112,
So what's the percentage?
minus 0.5%.
Okay.
Net
Still
supported by
going right.
taxes is 731,560,
731,560.
which is an increase of 0.6%.
Plus.
No, she said decrease, didn't you?
Increase.
Well, for total
For
expenditure.
the supported by taxes.
But
It's
Net supported by taxes is minus point.
No,
Zero,
point
seven.
six
Plus.
plus.
Point, yeah,
Oh, I
plus.
thought you said
point-
minus.
No, that was for the other
All
one.
you had to do was change that to a plus.
No, she said, did you say 0.6 or 0.06?
0.6. 0.6 is what I said.
Okay.
0.6.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
he did it.
Highway,
I got hospitals.
I don't think anything has changed.
except that
that stormwater.
stormwater.
Other than the
will change.
stormwater thing.
Page, so we're done with page 11? Page 12.
What do you overwhelmed about?
Just Eric's put the increase after that change.
Oh. I mean, what's it?
I'd really,
6.3%.
I'd really like to see us talk about that line 660 and 6. I think we could cut that fuel down by $2,500 and help him out there, and that's 6%. We spent 38 last year. 30 I know,
it's
Baker.
only- no. It's only 3%, Joel. It's 6% because of the, because we put that bond
I'll
over
let you
there.
explain that to the voters.
Well, we're gonna have to.
I get that.
It is the truth.
I just, if we're gonna,
Well, I mean, we
I
can
think we
work
could-
on, we can work on the 3%. We can't work on the 6%.
I would like to see us, I think we could get by with that fuel at 42.50. I'm not slicing it down to 4, but,
The
Which one?
propane?
no, fuel oil.
660 fuel?
660 fuels,
And you want to cut it down to what?
42.50,
Oh.
42,500. $2,500 I want to take out of there. He hasn't spent 4 yet in the last 3 years. So, I know we can,
That's equipment fuel?
yeah, fuel.
Took a
fuel.
lot today.
Oh, you delivered over
What
there.
department?
Highway.
Highway.
And-
In Public Works? Alright,
Yep.
just triple check.
So did you change it?
Haven't heard anything more.
38. What do you want to take?
$2,500, is that right?
Sure.
I'm so confident.
What's the next line? The oil and antifreeze? Like that's
That's
kind
for
of.
the trucks. Yeah.
Trucks, loaders.
Yeah,
Everything.
everything runs.
Engine oil.
Everything has an engine.
So, Michelle, I didn't hear from you.
Oh, I'm fine.
42,
Baker?
42.5?
Yep, fine with me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd rather see you do that than take $100 here and $100 there.
You don't get the middle, you don't get the haven if you're gonna start walking by starting at Stony Hill. If you're gonna start here, it's one step at a time. You didn't become a millionaire. You didn't become a millionaire saving $1,000 a piece, you know, so $1 at a time.
Let's go.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
hold on.
Can we keep going? Can we keep?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on page 13.
Which is recreation, right?
Yeah, end of public works.
Some works are gone because they've gone to the
Right.
capital fund.
Had my way, we'd cut the sand down by another 2,500 too.
He's trying to get his stores back up for his extra.
Enough for the end of the year. To the end of the
So what, Jen, what's the end number for them?
Public Works?
Yeah, somebody in the public. Net supported by taxes.
185.5.
721,840.
Yep, that's what I have
What is
to.
it?
7,840, which gives us what as a percent?
6.9%.
Okey-dokey.
Sorry.
Net supported by taxes changes to 721,840, which is a 6.9% increase.
You're gonna give poor Eric a heart attack.
Yeah, we'll have to explain it to him too.
One, I'm sure that there's a reason why the indebtedness is in the highway department to keep the highway expenses together, but another option, not necessarily for tonight, but going for, in the future, create a separate section for just indebtedness.
Well, the
Not-
next two are.
Well, but like Holly Hall and you know, just indebtedness in general, so that you have your debt picture.
Well, but because we vote on highway separate, I don't know
Right.
if we can do that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Well, then, to that question then, Jennifer, then why is 725 and 727 sitting by themselves and not in the highway? South Street Bridge replacement,
They are in
storm.
the highway.
They are
They're
in
on
the
the
highway.
Highway.
Yeah, and that's where we
Well,
added this
that-
one.
It's just its own section, kind of like
Yeah.
equipment is its own section.
So indebtedness
Well-
could be its own section, but we shouldn't have any. We really shouldn't have any because, until we build a new building, because we're putting money in capital funds ahead of time.
But this is because I think you vote on the highway budget separately.
Highway budget has to be
Well,
voted
that's
on
interesting, because
separately.
then the capital funds you'd think would be in here too.
Which is,
Uh,
yeah.
Okay.
Capital paving.
Are we all set
Right.
for our
Roads.
Parks and Recs on this page?
Well, if you did that, then they'd just be part of the budget. They
And then
wouldn't-
you
they
couldn't
wouldn't-
save them from year to year.
You
Right.
can save the highway budget. We never have. We didn't figure that out till
Right now
last
it's
year, I
not
think.
separated. Because
But you want it separate.
separating it is so that they could have their own undesignated fund balance, I guess, if
If they ever
like
have
because we vote on it separate. We don't do that because I asked the auditors about it when they were here in the fall, and they said that basically what happens is the admin that ends up happening for the highway is kind of what allows that kind of inclusivity as one whole undesignated fund balance. You can separate it if you want, but I don't know
Well,
if that
now-
hurts or helps.
I think by Vermont law, you have to vote on the highway budget
You
separately.
don't have
You don't
to.
have to, state statute enables it. A lot of towns don't. A lot of towns, it's just all part of the big general fund, and it's just a section, just like clerk treasurer.
Exactly.
And it all, at the end of the year,
One
it all
big
just
budget.
rolls
Yep.
away.
Okay. Read page 14. Rec Department. Any other? She gave her first glance here. Any wanted?
Did you say you had made some changes in the rec department?
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't see any.
Page 15. Are we set with 14? Hearing none, going
Wait a
gone.
minute, wait a minute. The facilities rent line, explain that one to me.
That was.
It's
you
the
guys
$3,000.
Pay that for the basketball. 'Cause we
But it
rent
went
the
up,
facility.
it was 1,100.
So
We budgeted
1,100 was what
1,100.
we used to pay for gymnastics, our share of the gymnastics. Now we don't have to pay to use the facility at BES. but we do have to pay a facilities rental, which she was taking out of programs for the basketball. And she told me that you guys wanted to put that as a facilities rental
Okay.
when that was discussed, because I think you had seen the bill at the same night she had come for
Yeah,
the
we did.
basketball.
Okay.
So you changed that as a facilities rental to
Yeah,
$3,000.
because it's an expense.
Because it is an expense and a facilities rental,
Right.
so.
That was for like
And she was just using that money to pay it, and so
Right.
we've got to show it.
Yep.
Right, that was the referees and things. We talked about it.
Just
No,
to
so-
have, I think could have the custodian
Custodian.
parents on
Right.
there or whatever.
Okay, we all set on that page? Page 14? Youth Center?
Okay, the food, I know we talked about this. Why is there such a huge increase? Because we don't have the grant anymore? Or they didn't have the grant,
I
or?
think Brian kind of decreased it thinking he was gonna get some grant funding, and then he left and Taylor came in, and then she's just, I think, being realistic about the figures.
Right.
Is that? Sounds right. Is that okay? I mean, I know she is seeking grant money for
Right.
food, and it's not all coming out of the budget by any means, but
Well, I'm just looking at, what it's been in the past.
Right.
It was like 2,500 and they spent 3,000, 2,500 spent 2,300, and then last year was 200.
yeah, because I think Brian thought maybe he had a lead on some specific
Right, he was
for
picking,
food,
yeah, he was picking stuff up.
and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he left, and then kind of had to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, but is $1,000 gonna be sufficient, I guess is what I'm
I
trying to
mean,
figure out.
she has gotten a couple of grants most recently for food, so I assume that if that's the figure she gave you, then
Okay.
And I just had a question on what we heard tonight about the disposal, trash disposal. They want to just verify that.
yep.
Are we all set there, page 13? Michelle, or 15, excuse me?
I was gonna say, you
15,
backed up a
correct.
couple hands.
I flipped it. Now we'll go to 16. Library studio. Supplies, the kill, heat.
And it's not like it's something everybody uses.
I will admit that
Huh?
the revenue on it's coming in better than it used to be.
They were last year, so.
Yeah. So,
And you have the addition of the swimming.
yeah. I'd like to see that 8.1 down a little bit. Total expenditure, total, but supported by taxes. I'd like to see it under 4. Anything else on that top half before we get into the hoot and holler list?
Well, there's nothing to say about that.
No, you don't
Well,
have
the
any
numbers that
The
are
numbers
here,
that, well, we do, the capital funds
Right, the
are
capital
ours.
funds we do.
they
Yeah.
reflect what you talked about at the last meeting when we were talking about the warning and increasing some of those appropriations.
Mm-hmm.
So the paving did go up to 150, for example, and let's see, another one. But anyway, they were increased to correspond with what we talked about, with sidewalks. And we got the figure for the library today. I did anyway.
What do we have in the reappraisal fund right now?
The appraisal fund
Just-
currently.
Probably about 10 grand maybe.
No, it's more.
Is it more? Because I thought we had stopped a year or two
Yeah,
once we
but
did
you're not gonna want to
reappraisal.
stop.
Well,
We
I know
just got our
that.
CLA and it's
Yeah, it's 90.
96.
Oh, the reappraisal fund is currently at $113,000.
Oh, really?
Because
So
it
I
came in
think-
cheaper,
Okay.
way cheaper than we had expected
Okay.
it to. But I think we're gonna
It
have
must
to.
be they didn't do a good job because we're already 4% off.
So,
Now the market's picked up a little bit,
Well,
stuff selling.
It's
Anyway.
96.6.
it's dropped 4%, or 4 percentage points from last year. And that's
3.4. Don't, be realistic.
No,
It said
101.
96.6.
So,
Yeah, and
It was
we're at over
101.
100.
yeah.
How can you be over 100?
Because if you're over here, because it's the way the market sale works.
And what was the last appraisal? What was done? I mean, I know the year, but it was about 135,
I
140.
don't know what did it cost.
Oh, I don't know either. I don't. We paid about $5,600 a month for 2 years, I think.
So I'm not sure if I said this already, but Lawrence Library is up. It's 144, 248. And Turning Point wants to increase their allocation.
Of course they do.
Well, I'm gonna ask that question, Turning Point. I have
How
that in
much?
my note. They wanna go from 15 to 3. So they've increased.
They have to petition.
They have to petition.
For 3 years.
For 3
Yeah,
years?
so that they did, they got it in
Okay.
this time.
Did Habitat get theirs in?
I don't think so, not yet.
Well, this one says 3,000, so I don't need to change that one, right?
Right.
Okay. I was
That's
changing the
what
wrong
they
one.
So when it's all said and done,
What did the sidewalks change to? Sorry.
40.
40.
when it's all said and done, we're talking about, I'm not sure how you want to summarize this, but the general operating fund
Construction, 40.
is 175, 552.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
What number are you at?
So the summary
operating.
of non-tax revenues, general operating fund revenues is 175, 552, which
Yeah.
is a decrease of 4.6%. So it's a drop in revenues. Highway fund is 98, 850. It's level funded, 0% change. Recreation department is 105, 300. 16.7% increase in revenue, that's a good thing.
You say 60.7%?
Correct.
Yeah.
Total non-tax revenue is 379, 702. Total increase of 1.8%. That's a good thing.
Sorry, can you give me that number?
I'll give you this, Tasha.
379,702.
Summary of expenditures, general operating, general operating is 907,112. It's a decrease of 0.5%, 0.5%. Highway department, 820, 690. It's an increase of 6%. Recreation department, 306, 753. Increase of 8.1%. Voted appropriations, 818, 504. Increase of 6.6%. Total expenditures, 4.2% increase at $2,853,000.59. So 2853059. Almost $3 million. The amount supported by taxes. Operating fund, 731,560. It's an increase of 0.6%. No decreases in this area. Highway department, 721,840. Increase of 6.9%. Recreation, net supported by taxes is 201,453.
Oh, I had that number right.
This is an increase of 4%. Voted appropriations, it's 818,504, 6.6% increase. Total supported by taxes, 2473357, 4.6% increase.
I think that's bad.
Huh?
I think that's bad.
We like to keep it around 3 or under.
We can go back and look at some of those capital appropriations if you want to revisit that. Which you mentioned
because then we're gonna
last
wind up
meeting.
paying on the other end.
to get it under 4. What do you guys, let's go around the table. Peter?
I don't know where to take it, but I'd like to not go over 3%.
What do we gotta cut to get under?
If we go back to 125 of the paving, so take the 25,000 out that we added last week and bring it back down to just 125,000 for paving. That is a net supported by taxes of 3.6%.
I didn't wanna go all the way back. I mean, we don't have to go to 150, but I don't wanna go all the way back.
120?
Yeah.
125 would be 125.
125.
So we give them 35.
I don't know, I think, well, we're gonna pay for it somewhere, because the paving needs to get done.
Yeah.
And the price isn't going to go down.
No, unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
not.
135?
Well, you wanna talk about the tree planting? We put 5 in that, had nothing. Wanna cut 25 and
Can we look at it for a week and come back next week?
There you go.
Yeah. And,
So I'll put the paving
I think
back
our
up to
brains are.
we had highlighted here attorney fees for
Yeah.
planning and zoning. We haven't spent anything this year or last year.
Yeah,
For
but
the
we
year
just had
before,
that
wait.
discussion about the town plan and that, so.
He,
I'll check
you know,
it
I
with
did,
Chris.
Chris said he'd like to take that out, and I said, we can't afford to take that out. It
We
ends
take
up-
5, I don't wanna take anything.
No, but
out.
it ends
Take
up, you
500
know,
out.
the thing is, it ends up going back, it's probably not the way to look at it, but that's money we need in there, and if we don't use it, it ends up going into the undesignated fund balance, so we don't lose it.
Well, that's another option, is to take some undesignated fund balance.
Next week we'll know that, right, Jennifer? So,
Hopefully, but I don't.
And
I don't mind taking it and putting it somewhere, but I don't
think
wanna,
it's-
I don't wanna
think you
use
should
it to
offset taxes
reduce
because
taxes.
it just
Right,
makes
yeah.
Yeah,
it terrible for next year.
Yeah,
Because
because
if
it's
you can't
double.
use the money, then you
Yeah.
have double the increase.
right.
And you won't wanna use it for the same thing again next year. We'll always have a project that we
So-
wanna fund.
Right. So I'm in favor of using it for something specific versus using it to offset
that
taxes.
water bond that we moved to Eric's thing, is that the last payment of that or no?
Oh, that's the first, Joel.
That's
That's
the
the West
first.
Street water line.
It's 18 for 10 years? Or
40.
40.
40 years?
Well, that's the USDA note, right?
Yeah, that's what they,
Well, I like this.
that's your forgiveness, you only gotta pay for 40 years.
So, but the 18,000, the 40,
Huh?
40 years of that payment is,
And you sound like my parents.
that is the town share, not the water department's.
It's town share only 55.07% or 97 or
Okay,
whatever.
that was not just a water line project, it was the stormwater and the whole thing.
When
down
we
through.
voted,
Yes, I know how
there's
we,
the
yeah.
two specific parts and there's the two specific loans, but that we voted that the overall project would be split like 55, 45. So 55 general fund, 45 water.
Yes.
Well, everybody's got your packet? We agree, we'd like to at least get down to 3.5? Get a 1% out of this, Peter?
I'd like to get to 3, but I don't see it
I
happening.
don't see, oh, you give me an axe and get it. Yeah, I'll take, yeah. Well, I guess before we move on to something else here, everybody take his home and see what you could, and separately we could kind of give it to Valerie and say, what you could live with and what you want to get to. I'm glad I caught 2,500 out of that fuel. We'd be over 5%. And I said 2 weeks ago, if the paving has to go, maybe, but
I put it back, just so that, you
Yeah.
know.
I hear what Peter's saying. Not getting any cheaper to do it.
Okay.
I just want to remind you that our neighbors to the west of us, I saw their town report today, and they're just a few dollars shy of $500,000 just for paving.
No, that's because all their roads are paved.
No, they're not. They've been trying to get rid of
Caught
them
up.
so they can get rid of the grader, but
don't think
unfortunately,
that's working.
that's not working for them, and it's not gonna work. I mean, We use the grader, we might be able to push the grader out way further, but we use it for snow removal, cleaning ditches, and a lot of other stuff besides just grading dirt roads.
They were using theirs on Plank Road, they over by Sawyer's, they were using theirs.
So they're trying to pave them all?
Yeah.
So that
They
can get
started
rid of
out,
right
well, you know,
Yeah.
they started out with Sawyer Road and they did,
Sections of Plank Road.
Yeah.
yeah, sections of Plank Road, they've done, Campground Road, they've done,
Yeah.
they lay down a lot of pavement. And unfortunately, they don't do the
I'll
prep
go back to the audit.
so it doesn't
So
last.
we'll have a single audit, or you
I'm
just,
gonna reach out to them.
okay, because you got 19.4 for a single audit, for the original audit. And there's a couple grand we could, if we cut it down to 20, if, you know, if they let us
Okay,
know.
you said think about it a week. Stop.
Okay, moving on.
Give me a week. Give me a week.
Okay, we'll go to
Next thing in, I
number 4. Michelle, I'll let you handle this because I work
don't
for
even
the
know
bank.
what it is.
Just read it and we'll do it now. Go to the bathroom.
It's the loan subordination, oh. National Bank of Middlebury loan subordination request for Bristol Works refinancing. I know why he's asking me not to do that. So Bristol Works is refinancing their current loans. They apparently have numerous loans with National Bank of Middlebury, and so they want us to subordinate our loan, which is currently second and which would still apparently remain in second, so that they can continue to be number one. So that's
And it's a procedural technicality.
pretty much.
So moved.
Who made the motion?
Peter.
Peaker.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Take it, Joel abstained.
I'm assuming Joel abstained.
No, he would have been able to.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's why he
gonna say
told
that.
me to do it.
Yeah.
Keep going, you're going way faster than he did.
We don't have the minutes,
We
right?
could be done by the time he gets back.
Valerie, we don't have minutes.
No, I'm afraid
Okay,
not.
so 5 is, we'll to move that to next time. Accounts payable warrants and liquor license, I didn't see any. Okay, so that's off.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, select board concerns, Ian.
I had someone mention about
We're on select board concerns.
Okay, good.
about a guide to town meeting. Might be useful information on the website. Just
Guide to
town meeting. People who aren't familiar on how town meeting works and the various.
The Secretary of State's office has a really good site on all of that stuff.
Can you put a link on?
Can we put a, I was gonna say, can we put a
Yeah.
link?
Yeah. Middlesex has some good examples that this person gave me. So yeah, I can work on that with you. Useful for people who aren't familiar, and also trying to get people more interested in coming to town meeting and being part of that experience. I think it could be useful. That's all I have.
Okay. Who did you start with? Me?
I started with the.
Okay, Peaker.
I owe Valerie a public apology. I said something that I probably shouldn't have said Saturday night. I used something she said to pick on a friend. And Valerie, I'm very sorry. I don't.
She has no idea what you're talking about. I can tell by the He's not gonna repeat it.
No, you can repeat that.
I'll tell you afterwards, but I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I thought after I said it, I said, ooh, that was not, that was very
I was
inappropriate.
deeply offended.
Well, it bothered me afterwards, so I'm sorry, and I'll tell you.
And you
what it
waited
was.
until now to call? I'm surprised you didn't call her right away.
I thought about it, and then
Saw
I
him
was
in the
like,
kitchen removing a foot out of his mouth. I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, if you haven't noticed, it takes a lot to offend me.
well, it was inappropriate, and I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle?
The only thing I want to comment on is this, the state and the PFAS testing. Boy, are they screwing it to us.
Uh-huh.
It's like, really? We tested negative.
Right.
How many years are you going to make us do this?
They don't know.
It's a new law. They say
first
want it to take
it said-
effect 2020, so.
Well, it was only supposed to be for 1 year.
And then
if it
every 3
passed-
years.
Yeah, and if you pass, then it would be every 3 years or
Yeah.
something like that. Now it's
It continues
Every
to
year.
pass, yeah.
Right.
I have nothing.
Peter. I have a couple of things. I spoke to our former representative, and I'm going to speak to our representatives now. Peter, I'll pick your brain. When's the last time the state aid to roads have been increased in the towns? That's the point that I was trying to get, was maybe some more money for the highway department.
I have no idea.
I don't think it's ever been. And then, thing that concerned me the other day, I happened to be driving bus and I heard one of the drivers call, and we have school buses now going down over down over Briggs Hill. That snowstorm last Wednesday afternoon, she was slippery sliding down. I'm not
That
sure.
hasn't been the first time. Sometimes she has to turn around and go the other way because she can't make it down the hill. And she does that with
Make
Upper
it up
Meehan too.
yeah.
I just think we used to have a policy that didn't go use certain hills. And I just couldn't live myself. Like
That, is that our policy or is that a school policy?
I don't know.
I mean,
That's my concern.
we're not, well, I know, we're just discussing it. We're not in charge of the bus routes.
No, we're not.
You know, we really unless we've got a bridge or something that they can't cross, we really, to my knowledge, don't have any say in where they go.
I mean, they were calling Eric on the radio, he wasn't answering, and she says, I'm starting down this hill and I can't make it. And I called.
So you can always get to the bottom.
Yeah, she's not fast. Yeah, but she's just kids on that bus.
I'm gonna look into it some more, but I just think that's.
Yeah, I mean, she has that problem even in our mud season where, like, Upper Meehan, Dan Sargent, she's got to turn around and go the other way because she can't make it through.
Sarksville doesn't allow the bus from Dan Sargent going down from Upper Meehan down to Meehan from Thanksgiving to Easter. They don't allow it. Come down that hill.
Well,
They may know now. They may
I was
not. They
gonna
used
say
to not
they-
allow it.
she goes down the road all the time.
Do you open yourself to liability if you do that?
If you close the road,
Yeah. Like if you close it to them and say you cannot travel it?
You recommend.
Yeah, I mean, like, we
can't
told them
really
they
close-
couldn't,
they
we
can't
told
close
them they couldn't cross the bridge anymore when we put the weight limit on it.
Right. But that was, I mean, that's not, that's big.
That's different,
That's
yes.
different. I mean, you're basically saying maybe the care for the, I mean, you're talking about specific scenarios and weather. You're not talking about all the time, right?
I would think, I would like to think that if somebody had a bus load of children, that they would have the wherewithal to go, I'm trying to be very politically
safest,
correct
right, the
here,
safest route.
to go where they should,
Yeah.
as opposed to going somewhere where they're nervous. I mean, if there's another way around, it may take them an extra half an hour, but
I mean, she went up through Bartlett's and go in from Lincoln side and then came down that. So,
yeah, there's no houses from the flat down.
correct.
I mean, there's no houses in the hills, so they're really, if the road is bad and it hasn't, for some reason they haven't got there's no reason for her to have to come down over it.
Right. So, just a concern I had, and I don't feel anything.
It's legitimate.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Well, I would think Betcha would talk to
I'm going to
schools.
look into it
Yeah.
more with Betcha.
Yeah.
My concern. Yeah. Okay. Valerie.
I have nothing to add.
Okay. No correspondence reports or anything received? I do know, just back one more thing, I do know we're going to be getting a petition. I saw it the other night. There's a petition going around town to, for all the social agencies that are here, is to put them on Australian
Australian
ballot
ballot.
the next day. There's a petition. And so I said, I'm just turning it into Valerie.
Is
Gotta
it-
have it in by such and such a
Is the
time.
wording as like a lump sum, or is it
They want to do them individually by Australian ballots.
so like,
That's what it says on the.
I mean, you could
I
probably
didn't
do it
sign
under
it.
one article, but have each one of them yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, whatever.
Kind of like justice of the peace.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you spoke for justice. of
There's
the
going to
peace.
be one of that's coming in by the
New Haven does it.
oh,
by the end of next week. So,
And they also pass.
They also,
so
But then you do.
but you get your individual,
rather than
right?
100 people, you got 600 people.
Yeah.
Right, no,
yep. So
that's fine.
Michelle, you want to do? We do have personnel, right?
You should have 600.
Okay, I make a motion, we enter into executive session to discuss personal matters per 1 VSA section 332.
Second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.